The following is a presentation of iRacing on PTR TV. We'd like to thank all of our channel partners for their support. Please like and subscribe to the channel, and we hope you enjoy today's broadcast. The 2.5 miles in Daytona Beach, Florida, better yet known as the world center of racing. The start to many and all stock car racing calendars, and none other than the Area Truck Series we will be starting off here tonight. A grid of over 43 strong will be taking here to the high banks. We will be sending some home as we start off the prestigious series season here tonight. Welcome everybody to PTR TV for the first coverage of the official Area Truck Series. We had a preseason clash a few weeks ago, but now we are racing for the points and all of the marbles. It's going to be myself, Corey Silva, in the booth and doing some talking. I got Brad Dalton and Mike Nouse here to help us out here with all of the action, guys. Of course, the real world exited Daytona a few weeks ago, but here is our turn here in Area. We got a huge fleet of trucks. Some aren't going to be here, and some are going to be taking their trips and waiting for next week.
I'm gonna let you go first, Mike. Since you're new here to PTR TV, this is gonna be your baby moving forward. Mike, why don't you take a couple seconds here, introduce yourself to everybody at PTR TV, tell them what you're about, and then I'll come in. Everybody, of course, is gonna probably recognize me if you've been around PTR TV more than 30 seconds. But Mike, I want you to introduce yourself, kind of tell everybody what you're about, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much, Brad. Corey as well joining here tonight. I'm Mike Noss, joined typically an oval or non-oval commentator, more of the circuit style. But tonight, of course, dipping our toes into the water, the truck series here for the Area iRacing Truck League. This is going to be exciting. I'm very, very thrilled to see what we're going to be out here. It's Daytona. It's a super speedway. We're going to be seeing trucks, and they're going to be going quite quickly. And I'm very much looking forward to the action.
I think this is going to be a fun one here. Mike, it's great to have you on board here at PTR TV for this 2025 season. I've been looking forward to this one mainly because it is trucks, to be honest with you. I think this is going to be a lot of fun as we go through. I've been taking a look at this long season that we're looking at here. We got a busy 17-round season coming up, starting here at Daytona. We got a Homestead, Miami, and New Hampshire the next few weeks, Texas, Watkins Glen, Rockingham, Darlington, Chicagoland, Dover, Kansas, Coda, Talladega, and then, of course, the playoffs, Bristol, Nashville, Las Vegas, Auto Club, Charlotte. We got a couple of special events here in the middle, and then going from there, it's going to be fun to watch, and I'm really excited to see what happens here. Corey, how are you feeling about trucks here tonight?
Well, the trucks are some of the most competitive that you can get here on the drafting style tracks, as we've kind of changed the verbiage of it here in the mid-2020s. So, of course, these trucks are slower, but they have that massive body that gives a ton of drag through the air, gives a lot of runs. We're going to see a lot of 2-3 wide racing, and I'll tell you, and you guys know it as well, Daytona is physically capable of 3 wide racing with its 35-foot wide surface. But even though it's physically capable, doesn't always mean it's the easiest, doesn't always mean it's the best idea. It's going to be a matter of patience versus aggression over the 90 laps here that we have to look forward to.
Yeah, it may be an oval on paper, but we don't really drive on paper. We drive on tarmac. And this tarmac, of course, founded back in 1958 by the legendary NASCAR founder Bill France Sr. himself on the 2.5-mile, 31-degree banked corners as well. That's something we'll be talking about quite a lot here tonight. Of course, the tri-oval banking out to about 18 and then 2 on the back stretch. Hosted play to some of the most famous races. Of course, back in 2016, the Daytona 500 had the closest race finish in all of history, with Denny Hamlin edging out Martin Truex Jr. by 0.01 of a second. In case anyone was curious, blink of an eye is 0.2. So hundredths within the blink of an eye. It is absolutely amazing, and I cannot wait.
I think this is going to be a fun one to watch here as we go through. As you mentioned during your intro there, Corey, we've got 43 trucks, but I will tell you, if you look at the live timing link pinned there in the YouTube, there's 47 trucks that are going to try to qualify this. We got go or go home coming in. So in one lap qualifying, this is going to be one heck of a shot here. I'm really excited to see who can make it, who can break it, and in the end of the night, who's actually going to win this thing, because it's going to be a long one here.
Yeah, as we were talking about in the pre-race here, as the lights do turn on here, the electric bill goes up further and further. If you're watching this in the real world, your electric bill probably is pretty high. But we have a bunch of sponsors to talk about as well, guys. AREAiRacing Twitch. They're you could, of course, if you're watching it on there, which we don't know if you are because we're having technical issues. Central Mobile Homes, Hendry County Motorsports Park, Elite Entertainment, the High Banks Podcast, rickshotsauce.com, shop AREAiRacing.com, and Victory Fuel, all of which will support the league. You'll see those logos in the top right of your display. But as we were saying pre-race off air, guys, one lap of qualifying here in these trucks, it's very, very hard, if not physically impossible, to even get up to speed in one lap. So that's going to put even more pressure on getting every last mile an hour you can get heading to that line to start your time lap.
Yeah, of course, this track being famous for, as you mentioned before, that bump drafting style, the sort of pack racing, when you have that open qualifying and, well, nobody else to help you out, you're just going to have to give it your all. And there's, I don't want to say a little bit of luck involved in it, but your out lap is going to be absolutely crucial in trying to set up that perfect exit and managing to get every little inch you can out of these cars.
It's going to be really exciting for me to see how drivers handle this one lap, because that pressure of knowing you only have one lap, it's kind of indescribable, I'm not going to lie. As we see, this is the number 94 going around. Let's see what the 94 can put through. We've got the drivers that are going to go out. I've got our go or go home tracker up here, guys. I'm going to keep my eyes on everything here and see who actually makes it through, who doesn't. It's going to be so close.
Going to be very close indeed. We should have some times coming in relatively soon here, as we'll start to get an idea of what's going to be the expectation. Cameron Hearn, a 50.98. Looks like we're going to be right around that 51-second flat bubble. And these times are going to be within thousands. You'll probably miss this race by less than 2 1,000ths of a second. That's my preliminary guess here. So as it stands now, Cameron Hearn still right there, along with Jake Fisher, only two that have cracked that 50-second threshold, but the times are coming in hot and heavy. We'll see how that bubble populates.
3 drivers already pretty much dead even when it comes to time. Heck, throwing a fourth right there, and Philip Groner up into the pole position. Sorry, what's not legal?
Usually running below the yellow line. I know it's not legal in the race, but is it legal on the qualifying lap? I don't know if we just ousted somebody there, but Tanner Love in that 71, he is crossing the stripe. He will put himself into... actually, I guess that lap didn't... He's still working on that lap, but... just waiting to see here. Currently 30 guys have turned time. Now 31, as Jordan Coots there has run a 50.03. Looks like Eric Wolf slowest at a 51.1 right now.
Jonathan Evans there. Oops, sorry, Brad.
Nope,
Jonathan
go ahead,
Evans
Mike. You are
up
good.
to pole position. Matthew Batby also up there into second. We're looking at Brad Slaughter out on track time. Beat of a 50.9. He's coming out onto off the banking onto the tri-oval part of the circuit. I'm going to say cars and I'm going to say circuit so many times here tonight. It's in my blood, unfortunately. But of course, the trucks and the track, and that's going to be good enough there for 26th position, I think. Third.
All right, Mike, here's a PTR TV point of contention we always say. A race car has a bunch of designs and sponsors on that, and it's either a paint scheme or it's a livery. Which one is it?
It's a livery. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. In America, It's a paint scheme. We got some good paint schemes here at Daytona International. Brad Slaughter Jr., he has yet to turn a lap. 42 have turned a lap. 43. And Brad Slaughter, time to beat is a 50.922 by Jonathan Evans. You saw David Weishart a little bit ago. Look it up there, rounded to the nearest 100th. We have 4 guys in the 50.93. Again, it's going to be separated by nothing. Here comes Slaughter on the flat. That'll be up there. He won't have any concerns. That will put him up to the position of 12 here. So only other driver yet to turn a lap. That's going to be Bryce Sunasak there. And let's see what he can muster.
So we know...
Goodness. My apologies. Bryce here to the line and looking at a 50.9 here to beat pole position with a 50.92. Look at the times. This is one thing about trucks and NASCAR. Everything within tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of seconds.
Yeah,
these guys are feeling good tonight.
Absolutely.
These guys are feeling real good tonight.
Absolutely. And now that that qualifying is over, we have the warm-up now that I was just about to preload ourselves into the grid on out of pure force of habit here. Still getting used to the formats here, but we'll let Brad probably wait for admin to give the final go and go home list. But as you said, 43 starters, which is actually 7 more than the real world truck series would allow. I think 36, but we are a little bit more nice here in the virtual world here. These guys will have 5 minutes to shake and dice themselves out here and maybe get a lap in. I don't even think it gives you an updated pit stall, so you'll have to just kind of keep an eye on where your pit stall is going to be, because with this many trucks on pit road at a time, you definitely have to make sure you know where you're going to be stopping.
Yeah, you certainly do, especially one thing. I think that's a great segue to talk a little bit about these trucks. The 5.8 liter V8 engines, of course, powered by that naturally aspirated Freedom. No turbochargers, no superchargers here. Top speed of around 180 miles an hour on these super speedways. They are going to be absolutely flying, and considering the fact that they weigh about 3,400 pounds, at some points in time, don't be surprised to see these cars be lifted up in the air like they weigh approximately as much as a sheet of paper. As well, when it comes to these cars, we're talking a little bit about pit strategy. We're expecting them to go around 32 to 38 laps on these truck series cars, somewhere in that range, but of course subject to change on cautions and various other, of course, variables.
So looking here, guys, at the trucks that didn't make it, that this is the go home of go or go home. We got Perrin Huggins in the number 17, Connor Horn in the number 42, Aaron Smith II, number 70, Ryan Swan, Trey Edison, Forrest Smith, Kevin Stein, Ben Pierce, and Kevin Martin are the ones that I'm seeing on the go home list from Race Control. I'll double check and verify all of those things, but out of all of our drivers, those are the 43, or those are the ones that I see on the go home category, the ones that did race their way in here in the open drivers. I've got down David Weishart, Tanner Love, Lee Norton, Glenn Burden Jr., Brad Slaughter Jr. with a 50.968. Gary Waterworth and Sean Farr. The difference between the making it and not, 4/1000ths of a second.
I don't know what your statistic was there on blinking an eyelash there, Mike, but probably if we were to put that into numerics of how long, distance-wise, 4/1000ths of a second, it is about 175 miles an hour. There's somebody in our chat, someone in our audience, someone in our booth that could probably put down the metric of what's the distance of 4/4000ths of a second at 175 miles an hour. But I'd have to press that's less than 6 inches.
It definitely would be a lot less. One thing I can tell you is that sound travels approximately 280 feet in the blink of an eye, which is 0.2. So if we're going to the 0.1 here now, we're going to have to break out the napkin, do a little bit of math. And I'm not going to be the one to do that, just to be completely honest. We'll have to maybe put this to chat. But yeah, down to, somewhere, I don't know. Anyways, the heart of a pygmy shrew also beats within 20 seconds, or with 20 times within the beat of an eye, or blink of an eye. So there's a lot of things that we can use here to measure. And the thing that I'm taking away from this is that Americans will do anything to measure in not the metric system.
Amen.
Let's not get controversial here on race number 1. We have plenty of time for that in our future here. But minute left. Looks like most of these guys have taken their warm-ups. They're comfortable with what they have. Again, plenty of sponsors here today. Let's just get a couple of our readouts here. The AREAiRacing shop.iRacing.com. You can visit the website for high quality merch at low prices. Shop from over 100 selection of t-shirt, hats, champion brand clothing, and area accessories. Easier to shop, quicker to shop, better to wear. Shop.AREAiRacing.com. And that will lead us immediately onto our starting lineup here tonight, guys. Our starting lineup tonight is brought to you by Central Mobile Homes. Looking for a small or large home, a new shed, or Triple Crown trailer? Look no further than Central Mobile Homes. They've been proudly serving Florida customers for 29 years with a plethora of small and large home floor plans, shed designs, and Triple Crown trailers. Available in LaBelle, Okeechobee, Clewiston, and Sebring. Head to centralmobilehomesinc.com to get started today. And, well, Brad, how about you start us off with our starting grid here tonight?
Getting that PTR TV starting lineup here for this area iRacing round one here in trucks. It's Bryce Sinasak in first place with Jonathan Evans, a Chevy and a Toyota, blocking out the front row. Matthew Batby in third. David Weishart found fourth place when it was all said and done. Fifth place, Mason Kane, Caden Diedrich in P6. From there, we're going seventh, Tanner Love, Justin Anasogic in eighth place. Ninth place was Rocky Boyd the third, and Lee Norton rounds out your top 10. And I tell you what, Corey, take us through our next 10.
We got Ricky Springer in 11th with Glenn Budrin Jr. in the 12th position. 13 will find Mr. Brad Slaughter Jr. and then Gary Wattersworth in the 14th spot. 15th finds the Chevy of Jeremy Brown with Devin Johnson, Apple Valley, Minnesota native, in the 16th spot. 17th will find Philip Groner and Cameron Hearn in 18th, rounding out our top 20 right from where the Milwaukee Mile is found, Mr. Sean Farr, and then Brian Lucario there. He will be in 20th, Mr. Mike.
Down onto row 11, Perry Huggins bringing up 21st position with Jake Fisher alongside Peyton Howell. 23rd position with Joshua Balete alongside in 24th. Jordan Coots in P25 with Alex Chillett in P26. Connor Horn 27th with Travis Beckner, 28th quickest alongside Jeremy Miller, and rounding out our top 30, Aaron Smith.
And we'll take it through the final 13 here. Seth Noel and Timmy Pacioli in 32nd. From there, we're going to go 33rd, Doug Denise. Ryan Swan bringing out 34th. From there, we're going to go 35th, Garrett Conrath and Garrett Grant. Garrett on Garrett, 35th to 36th. 37th place respectively. Let's go ahead and look at Jake Nichols and AJ Stravato in 38th. Rounding up the rest of our grid here in P39, we got Dominic Previte and Jalen Handcamp in 40th. Then we got three more trucks to finish this thing out. 41st, Trey Edison and Casey Lakatos in 42nd, and 43rd, Danny Ware. That was our 43 car grid. And then of course we had Forrest Smith, who didn't run in, and those other trucks that we talked about in the go or go home category earlier with our run. This is going to be a fun one. Mike, you're on the hot seat since you're the new guy on the block. Prediction, winner, how many cautions?
How many cautions? That's certainly one up for debate. I'm going to predict at least 3 is what I'm thinking here. These trucks, if free practice has to say anything about what we saw, there was flip and flop and well, pretty much enough to have a couple issues and to pay for a couple college tuitions here in America. Other than that, of course, we're looking at obviously Bryce Sesniak up on pole. Jonathan W. Evans was in second here. But taking a look at our previous season, Jonathan Evans, of course, being a season 6 champion. So definitely one not to count out. He had 9 laps led and overtook at the end and did an incredible job. So definitely John Evans, one that I'll be keeping my eye out for.
Keeping your eye out for him indeed. But let's get this race underway. 90 laps of action underway. That'll equal 225 miles for those who like to do the mathematics. But we expect that pace truck to pull into the safety of pit lane. And no, we're gonna get a bonus lap here. We're gonna get some stall time here. So just a little bit more opportunity for these guys to get their pit speeds, all set. Buckle them belts tight, do that final math calculation, figure out who you're going to be drafting with, get all that stuff sorted out.
You know, it's interesting. This gives us a little time. I want to mention that, of course, pace car that we see at the front, that big old Chevy Silverado up at the top. There we go, my best American. Anyways, pay no mind to that. But of course, iRacing just recently adding the M2 pace car and everything like that. But if anyone watched the real life Daytona 500, you would have saw that EV Chevy car that they did, of course, come out with, that thing weighing about 6,700 pounds. It is absolutely insane, but it was a very cool car, and 0-60 and I think around, what was it, 3.8 seconds, something like that. So for a SUV Blazer, pretty impressive.
6,700 pounds. I bet 6,000 pounds is probably just the battery alone.
Pretty much.
But, you know, that acceleration certainly is nice. And one thing that we can't do for the sake of getting fired on week one is you cannot start a debate of EV in NASCAR world, because that is just immediately throwing you into the pooper on from the get-go here. So we like loud, we like smoke, we like vroom vroom, right? Let's get back on everyone's good side.
Yes, that's exactly how it works here.
I just was pointing out an EV. That's all. Again, pointing out the Chevy too.
Go into the iRacing road world. How often do people drive that Porsche Mission-R?
I mean, that's a fair point. But either way here, I think the pace car lights are out and the pace car is about to go on in, and the green flag getting ready to wave for the first time here at Daytona.
Coming off of turn number 4, that iRacing generic pace truck will take that hard left, and Bryce Senesac will be the one to get the season underway. Race 1 at Daytona, 225 miles is underway. Let's go racing for the Area Truck Series.
Clean getaway from everybody here going into turn 1. You can tell 2x2, everybody's trying to find a friend. We're going to see a lot of drafting here early on as we go through turn 1 and turn 2. I don't expect anything too wild too early, but then again, I've been wrong at Daytona before, and these drivers are all going to be feisty to start this season off strong. They got a very long but quick season in the same way as we come off of 2 down the backstretch, and well, already we're going to go ahead and start wiggling things around, back in the back up in front, but it is still going to be your race leader up in front. Bryce Sesniak's dropped to 4th, David Weishart, Jonathan Evans. We'll see how many times we can see that lead shift, because it's not going to stay the same for more than about half a lap, I'd say.
Yeah, Bryce Senesac already back to the 3rd spot here, following him to the inside. Got a big taste of the back bumper of that Jonathan Evans car, and this is the position you'll be in a lot here at Daytona. You're going to be, as I like to call it, it can be aggressively boring at sometimes. And what do I mean by that? What I mean by that is you're going to be side by side, you're going to be going at it, but sometimes you just can't go anywhere.
Yeah, the occasional lane change here and there, but for the most part, you're not going to be seeing anyone get too out of shape too early. You're not going to see anyone try to start their own lane on the outside as well. Maybe a little bit later, but for the most part, I think I've seen the 89 there, Matthew Batby. He moved up early on, but beyond that, pretty much everyone has remained where they started. It's going to be Yoda Chevy, and then everybody else, 2x2 Noah's Ark formation down the field.
Keeping that 2x2 down the field we go. This is usually going to be the best way to go here early on at Daytona. Just nice and calm and pace along. These trucks, believe it or not, it's a truck, but aero does still matter in the trucks more than you'd ever anticipate. Yeah, they're very weird because they have the bed on there that's covered up, but you know, it still matters. The aero, the draft, everything still matters. That side draft can still come into play. And as we come through 3 and 4 here, Corey, look at that fin on the back. That's something that I think a lot of people forget the trucks have. They are truly set up just like any sort of stock car would be, but just in a truck form.
Yeah, exactly. You still have, of course, these trucks racing here circa the year 2000, the inaugural race. We all remember that. Well, actually, that was 25 years ago. How many people weren't even alive at when this race happened in the year 2000? Jeffrey Bodine having his very dangerous and scary wreck there in the Tri-Oval. And ever since then, these trucks have come here. And now that Daytona has a lot more grip, you know, these races do tend to be a little bit of a cluster with guys feeling like they're Superman, even though they haven't acquired their capes yet. But Thus far, these guys here in area doing a fantastic job keeping things square. Lap number 4 into a 90-lap race. So just as we say, keeping things square, let's go and try to get a third lane going back there. Who is that in that light blue truck that is trying to start it up there? Looks like it is going to be the 73 truck that is trying to work that third lane up there. And followed by the 31. It's going to be Nichols, Kane, and I believe the 28 of Travis Beckner trying to work up there as well.
Yeah, this is maybe going to work out for them. I think we already see a couple cars maybe second guessing the decision. They really need the number 2 to move up here and get in the pack there. Although they gain a tremendous amount of momentum on the backstretch. A bump and shove. It's a bit of shake and bake action, the 73 and the 31. The problem here is they have to slot back in at some point. Well, unless they can just carry their momentum all the way to the front of the field.
They're going to keep bringing it down through the tri-oval, guys. Just keep it 3 wide here up at the front. We're lap 5, but I tell you what, let's race like it's lap 85 or like we're in 1999. Well, you know what? I made the first pun of the night. Somebody had to do it. I'll take the credit. Here we go with the cam into turn 1, turn 2. Hold the 3 wide. Be very brave with it. You got to trust the people around you know what they're doing.
Look at that middle is going there. The 85 was just hit the Mario Kart turbo pad there in the middle, that pink and white truck. That number, I believe it is to the 85 of Lee Norton there. He just had a surge there, and that got that middle lane working. The top has kind of disintegrated a little bit, and you can see these guys are bouncing left and right. They're trying to find themselves, but the arrow is pushing them all around. The draft from each side, the tight confines here at Daytona. This is not as easy as it may look at home.
No, it certainly is not. If we were to go on board, you can see these guys are wrestling an octopus when it comes to the wheel movements that they're trying to contest with. And now going on board into the banking, there's a bit of bumping and banging, cars wide. We are wrecking.
Didn't take long, and we're still wrecking back in the background. Look at that. Just scrapyard material right there. Lots of guys getting in trouble here early on, but that's the thing with Daytona. Everybody kind of gets in that wiggle. They get feeling good, and then one guy gets feisty, and then another guy gets feisty, and then you bring 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 guys getting feisty, and well, it's a firework. Let's go ahead and get our first replay of the night here pulling up.
Yeah, we're trying to here, so obviously that is not the cam that we are desiring, but here in the back, let's just try one more time if we may. Let's see the 85 of Lee Norton. He is going to be in the thick of it. Looks like he came down onto the 71, and that stacked things up from there on out. And we'll get one more look at that here. The overlay software is being a little laggier than I'd like right now, but here we go, focused on that number 85 of Lee Norton. And you can just see once that happened, when you're 3x3, everyone's gridded up. Just ain't nowhere to go.
It's hard to tell there kind of what started. I mean, I saw a car getting loose and off into the top wall. I think it was an assisted little shove there, that side drafting that we talked about earlier, potentially going wrong. And that's just sort of the nature that can happen when you go 3 wide. Very little room in between the cars or trucks, and when they do end up making a little bit of contact, getting shoved out wide, that wall, the safer barrier, is never far away. And unfortunately, well, more than one car found that wall here tonight, now having to make a couple unscheduled pit stops down the lane. And Brad, are there any faster pairs for these drivers out here tonight?
I'm double checking myself to make sure I don't say yes or no the wrong way. The other thing I'm counting out right now is all the trucks that got tore up in that. The 81, the 37, the 60, the 2, the 87, the 31, the 30, the 11, the 85, the 29, the 73, the 89, the 28, the 82, the 52, the 49. I mean, the number 4 got a little hit on that. There's a lot of tore up race trucks from that had to either duck off in the grass, got hit by somebody going somewhere, and they took a big old hit from it. So I'll double check and see what these guys get here along and make sure that I don't misquote myself and mix something up with someone else. But tell you what, that was a good little Hendry County Motorsport Park replay here on PTR TV, if I say so myself. We did have Bryce Senesac stay out there. The only one that I can see that did so. Now 9 laps in, again, these trucks, I believe we're working with a full fuel load here, if I'm not mistaken. So that usually puts you around like
30 something laps, so there's still going to be at least 2 stops minimum here in this race. But staying out by yourself, if this thing does go green for an extended cycle, which after a big wreck it does kind of condone itself usually to cleaning out, him staying out, he's going to have to really bribe someone to pit with him, or he's going to have to make a solo pit stop.
Of course, bank on another caution. As cautions breed cautions, that is the famous saying. Now, obviously, he doesn't want to pit anytime soon. You mentioned the pit strategy. We expect around, like I said, about 32 to 38 laps, somewhere in that window, depending on how liberal or conservative they are with their right foot at the end of the day, and if they manage to get a couple draft partners or having to work their way through the field. But I actually really like this strategy from Bryce Senesac. This is sort of reminiscent of what Parker White did back in Vegas, where he kind of had a bit of a poor qualifying, needed to get his way back to the, Parker White at Daytona, in the Coke Series. And he just kind of used the pack of everybody else pitting around him. He stayed out and managed to work his way through the top. He finished in second in that race, but now Bryce here, I think this puts him in a much better spot.
I would certainly agree with this. Puts him in a much better spot. We're going to see how things go through. I really like that Mike pointed out the cautions breed cautions before I could even think to get that out of my mouth there, because I have a feeling these guys aren't going to be in the mix as well. As far as teams go, I see somebody in the YouTube chat. Big shout out to everybody watching here. Teams asking about who was in the wreck, I-90 members and certain team members. I didn't really get a good sense of who it was in the wreck there, of who it was. I shouted out a bunch of numbers, so if I didn't say your favorite driver's number, they might be okay here. And just for everyone's reference, no fast repairs, and Race Control has brought the hammer down and officially deemed the fault on that one. Let's double check here, the number 85 was found to cut down, and they deemed that lap 7 incident on him, as we're getting ready to go green yet again here, Corey.
Yeah, and that's just again the product of Daytona not really having the amount of real estate that many other tracks do provide. Is that you do have the issue of spatial awareness. You're just, when you're in the middle, as Lee was, you really just kind of run out of space to make those moves, and you think that you have enough space, but then you're like, oh, I'm just trying to not wreck the guy up top, and you just kind of forget where you are.
No, exactly. And one of the other added elements here when it comes to the wreck starting to unveil and kind of develop is we have the old Daytona layout, if you want to call it that now, but as of course the infield has been all paved. All that grass that you see is no longer, which is sad. It saddens me. It saddens me as a race fan, but that's neither here nor there. Let's get it. We're about to go green once more. Pace car lights are out, and we are here on lap 11, getting ready to restart.
Ace truck is going to pull it in there. You see the pull off into pit lane. Barry has the flag, and well, let's go ahead and take it here. Geico restart zone comes in, and there's our green flag. Let's get these trucks rolling here, guys. Into turn 1, into turn 2. Is anyone going to be calm on this restart? Well, we're going to find out. Brian Senesac there up front, holding on to it with Caden Diedrich there in second. 88 and the 26 of Anna Sogak and Evans back behind him. I see everybody kind of looking for that 2x2 up in front. Definitely going to be looking to slot in, pick a lane, stick to your lane, go through. And Corey, we made it to the backstretch at least.
Yeah, well, we're not up to speed yet. We now are just getting up to speed. Some of these speeds accessing 185 miles an hour. Now we'll top out about $1.95. And didn't we think the guys were going to settle out and try to buy some laps? Absolutely not. Travis Beckner with the push from Alex Chilcutt there, making that third lane work. Now they're trying to tag a trio into the Three Stooges up there. That third truck is going to be the likeness of the number 80. I'm really stalling trying to see that number up there. Can't quite make out who it is on that third lane, but he did dip to the inside. That was the 82 of Brian Mercario there, just leaving those two trucks. Now he's trying to go back up, and now look at the 80 of Gabe Herschel there. He's trying to take his tango up to the top and make that third lane rock.
Yeah, Brian a little bit hesitant there on his decision making. He wasn't sure if he wanted the top lane. He wasn't sure if it was going to work out, but he sees now that the gap has opened up, and it looks like the floodgates are as well potentially here. As it's down in the middle lane, it's looking like a bit of a swamp right now, but still running each other out of room here. It's going to be a bit of a ding-dong battle for these guys, and somebody is going to have to give at some point in time. Keep this in mind. Eventually, they're going to have to settle in too wide. We're only 12 laps in. I mean, they can keep this up for 80 laps, but I would imagine they're going to be pushing it quite a bit if that was the case.
You know, guys, one of the things I will remind you of is Gabe Herschel here started all the way back in the back of the pack and is pulled up into a very good position right now, P15, which in Daytona is basically the lead.
Yeah, when you're in this pack, this lead 12 or so, it doesn't matter what position you're in. The ticker is going to bounce around like it's a bouncy ball at a place that a bouncy ball is found. Basically, it doesn't matter where you are in the top 10. If you're in the top 10, you basically are, as you said, more or less in the lead, because at the shake of anything, we're going to wreck.
Oh! Was that a flip I saw?
We're not getting rid of all of the grass here at Daytona, guys, so do not blame the triola for that.
Oh, you know they're going to, though. Let's be honest. And yeah, the number 5 got up on his side.
Something with the, oh, what a visual that is. Something with the 29 stemmed this. Let's go up to the blimp perspective. Watch the 29 go into the middle here. Split the sandwich here. The 6 may have right reared him there. The 50 on his lid, flipping wildly.
Golly. Yeah.
Look at that 35 just coming to a dead stop there, it looks like. But that's sometimes what you have to do.
That was Casey Lakatos as well, flopping around like a walleye on the ice of Lake Winnebago. Jeez Louise, he managed to catch some air on that one.
Let's go. Danny Ware there, the 35. Watch his perspective of this. Danny Ware, this is.
This is a heck of a perspective. Look at that. Trucks flipping. Go ahead and just flat spot those tires. Who cares?
He still almost got hit, even though he stopped. I mean, that's kind of like the Kyle Larson strategy. No matter what you do, you still fail. For Danny, he did evade that contact there. So, again, 3 wide early here in the event. I will say that this race is on and I don't expect this to come into play, but I believe this race is on a timer. So, my race overlay is saying about a hour and 22 left in the race. So technically, if this race does go painfully slow here, we may actually have some distance issues here. Hopefully that doesn't happen. But we do have a little bit of a split bag here on the pit strategy. Entering the pit lane. You can see the 71. Tanner Love didn't love making his pit box there. But we have some guys exiting the pits. And one driver did stay out in that sequence. That was Justin in the 88 truck. The car truck.
I'm a bit... We'll be getting that a couple times tonight. I'm a bit surprised to see Bryce Senesac pit, to be completely honest. He was, I thought, kind of committed to that longer term strategy, but maybe seeing now that the drivers are going to be a bit more, I guess, discretion being the better part of valor. It's kind of hard for me to say that from what we've seen so far. I don't really expect that to be the case, but I really thought Bryce was going to commit to that longer term strategy. I like this from Justin as well in the 88, just taking the lead here, not going for that spot. Again, everybody just pit. So going in for a new set of boots, going in for new fuel is really for naught. It's just a bit of a wasted time if you can avoid it.
Race control official decision. 6 cuts down, hooks the 29.
I should be in race control. I'm 2 for 2 here. If I get fired in this role, I'm a race control.
You know what? We haven't touched on the incident point system here either. So that +2 may sound like not a big deal to some people, but that +2 is an end of line at the start of next race. So if you got drivers serving that end of line at the start of next race, that can be painful depending on what that next race is.
And again, just to reiterate as well, our replay sponsors, which we have been using quite heavily today, our replays are sponsored by Hendry County Motorsports Park. Hendry County Motorsports Park is back, and you can join them on March 8th with the Cruza Street Stocks, Factory Stocks, and more. Tickets are $20 for adults, and kids age 5 and under are free. Bring the family to the track with their family of 4-pack at $25. Check out racing at the southernmost dirt track in America in Clewiston, Florida, off Highway US 27. Family of 4 on a Saturday night for $25. Can't have more entertainment for that at that budget.
Now the pace car underway here
Truck.
on lap 16. Oh, goodness. The pace truck underway on lap 16. The Chevy Silverado. No, okay, that's enough of that. Chevy
The
Silverado.
Chevy F-150 Tundra.
Yeah,
Pro 4
Yes.
RX. Don't forget that part.
yeah, exactly. With the V, what is the VTEC engine as well? No, of course.
With the
Add
W16.
some RAM in there, because aren't we getting Dodge next year too?
Oh, yeah, we are.
Anyways, the pace truck, as it goes through here, illuminating the night. Well, it's not illuminating the night anymore as the lights are out. We're going to be getting ready to resume this race on lap 17. And with, as you mentioned earlier as well, the 2,000 light fixtures illuminating this track, making it one of the only night circuits that is for NASCAR as well.
Yeah.
I like Daytona at night, and maybe this is because I've been to Daytona in person. Daytona at night is a different experience, Corey.
That was on my bucket list. There's a country song that says something about, never mind, I'll have to come up with it later. But basically, this was on my bucket list, and coming to the Daytona 400 in 2023 was definitely a lifelong experience. If you've never been to a NASCAR track, go to Daytona. If you've been to a NASCAR track and it's not Daytona, go to Daytona, because this is the equivalent of a Super Bowl facility, and your stadium is a high school place. This place just blows the doors off of anything NASCAR has put out, really outside of Phoenix International Raceway. But anyways, we got Justin in the 88 on the front row. I mean, doesn't really matter too much because they're going to be 3 wide in about 6.7 seconds anyways. But the pace truck is in. Barney's hand is getting a little bit sore because he's been waving a lot of flags here tonight, and he'll have to wave yet one more as we're back underway.
Mad dash in the front here. Are we going to be seeing them throw it 3 wide into the first corner? No, probably not, but you were mentioning not quite going to be waiting too long. We see a bit of gibbering and jabbering in the background, but for the most part, I think the drivers may be starting to be on their best behavior, and as I say that, we start to see a bit of shaking.
Don't commentators curse us now, Mike. Come on now. We don't want to. We don't want to get you in trouble here this early. But no, they're not going to be calm. We're only 17 and 90, and calm is not something that I feel like these area drivers have under their name.
Who is that back there? Who is the culprit in the 81 vehicle? Going to the outside already.
Slaughter.
Yeah, Slaughter trying to make that. Yeah, he's trying to make that third lane work all by his lonesome, and quickly realize that ain't nobody going to go with me. He falls back into line here, but again, it's a 90-lap race, which sounds like a lot. It's roughly about an hour and 20 minutes worth of racing here. Still a couple pit stops to be had, but you know, there's always the famous adage: you can't win it if you ain't in it. And again, you have to consider, is it worth being in a wreck? Is it worth putting my truck in a precarious position when we are only at about 1/3 distance?
Well, the short answer is no, but that's easier said than done, especially when you're driving these trucks, and you can even see there the 88 kind of getting a little bit, not pinched off, but Justin just falling off the back and having a little bit of momentum lost,
nice
the gap getting closed up. And yeah, we get a beautiful view of that 4.9 liter or 5.8 liter V8 in the front of that Toyota. Nice, that's my favorite car out there tonight. A little bias on the Toyotas, but truck, we'll get there.
It'll take time. Don't worry. It'll take time. We'll be at the end of the season. You may not still be there, but it's okay because I won't be there either. Don't worry. As we go through lap 19 here of 90, the one thing I'm really watching here, guys, is I'm watching for that sort of mid-race. How do I phrase this in a way that it's... I was going to say that mid-race therapy, that mid-race yoga session where all the drivers settle in line and they realize that this is a 90-lap race, that they don't win on lap 20, and they just start to tick these laps down. I still don't feel like we're getting there, but it feels like we're a little bit closer. We'll see when they decide to take it 3 wide, and never mind,
right
there's the 81.
Right on cue, and take a look at who it's going to be. There's always the one guy in a race who, if there's going to be 3 wide, it's going to be that guy. That guy is Mr. Brad Slaughter Jr. in that number 81, but he's got some help in front of him. 2 trucks in front deciding to make that move a little bit earlier. Jake Nichols in the 73, the 52 of Peyton Howell. He's going to try to lead the charge up there. and he can get it rolling. Who is going to be the first to peel up of the top three, or is the 52 going to get to the lead all by himself? Looks like they have enough head of steam to get there by themselves.
And Slaughter really wants that 29 to move up with him. I think finally he complied. He wanted to get that bumper, give the 29 his bumper so we can get onto that backpack, squeeze up to the 80, close up to the 86, and then all the way up to the front. And then you're in the money. You're in the mix of that top 10, which is absolutely crucial. And there is that outer line. That is exactly the effect that I was just talking about. We have those cars locking up in the back, and once you get enough of them, the slipstream is a community. This word always sucks for me to say. Is it a communal? Dang it. Yes, close enough. It adds up. The slipstream is basically what I'm trying to say. So every car that peels into that line is going to be helping the cars behind, which is going to help the cars in front.
It's exponential, essentially.
Yeah, that's the word. There we go.
2 times 2 equals 4, but 4 times 2 equals a bigger number than see. All right, math and PTR TV go together like tuna and eggs. Actually, I guess debatably you can make a case for that, but
no.
Tuna and eggs.
Well, terrible. Anyways,
tuna and eggs in the chat. Maybe do you put that in tuna salad? Put it in the chat. But we're still 3 abreast right here. Top lane starting to fizzle down. Looks like even Slaughter has found himself into the middle groove here. Again, if you are, after you watch this broadcast, if you're looking for something to do, you can check out the High Banks podcast. 2 blue-collar guys, Nick and Alex, talking about NASCAR and more. Listen to episode 228 with Jacob Bell, available on Spotify, the High Banks podcast. As someone has said, ooh.
There was a big wiggle there back in the back. It looks like we all collected ourselves. It kind of caught me off guard there because I was looking over at the stats for the past 6 seasons here, and I noticed a few different things. So season 1, the last caution was 72 laps to go. However, season 2, last caution 50 to go. Season 3, 4, and 5 hit overtime. And then last season, last caution was 9 to go. And everyone, with the exception of season 2, took the lead with 1 to go. So, I got to tell you what, usually we should expect a couple more cautions. These guys are going to get feisty. And it's going to be interesting to kind of see who goes where. Last season's winner, Philip Groner, currently running a little bit further back, but still not in a bad place here. And I'll tell you what, Mike, I'm interested in seeing if team games come up at all for these guys.
Yeah, it should be a bit of a minor variable, I think, in this league right now. It seems everyone, especially at Daytona, the team games almost come down to who's next to you. You know, the man next to you in the trenches is kind of who your teammate is for the time being, whether if it's a temporary relationship or not. It's kind of what you got to make do with. But John Evans, for example, one of the drivers that I thought was going to, or my prediction here tonight for the top step, he's down in 18th right now. So if anyone needs a teammate, if anyone needs a little bit of helping hand, it's going to be him. He is kind of, again, started up on the front row, managed his way back down, but he's just bouncing back and forth and seesawing. And now that third row looking very strong again. I think Evans has actually hopped up to it. Let's see, though, in this front pack as we push on along.
Guys, I was just getting distracted because Gary Watersworth has a Gary the Snail helmet design. So that.
Whoa. What?
You heard me. I don't want to
show it off.
Yeah, I mean, I have to find the camera. Look at the rear view mirror. It looks like a Gary.
Oh, you can see, yes.
That's beautiful.
That is a very Gary has been doing something, I suppose.
Oh, the 88 with a push from the 24, Diedrich to Anasoga there. And again, that's just not what you need in the middle. You don't need to lose control when you have about 3 inches of space. 24, loosey-goosey, slippy, slidey. 88 goes to the bottom, says, I don't want the 24 around me with him driving like that. So let me go get a push from Peyton Howell.
Yeah, sliding around like a dog on a freshly finished hardwood floor.
Mike, we're going to get along. We are going to get along so well.
Still running 3 wide, and look at the changes now. We just saw the 73 get cut off there by Brad Slaughter, who was down in the back. Was he down in 22nd, 23rd? Man has gone through the pack like a yo-yo.
He wanted to be 3 wide, and well, he said, I'm going to go 3 wide. I go the high line. Somebody get with me, and he just led the charge up front here. Look at this. This is the beauty shot here around Daytona, guys. I don't care who you are. This is the best part of Daytona racing. When you get that 3 wide up front, you can see that low line strung out, but you got 4 trucks on the high line that are absolutely owning this track right now and taking Daytona as their own as they run around here. Look at this. Just continuing.
This graphic is semi-broken, but there's one part of it that is accurate. The estimated SOF, so for those who don't know iRacing, every driver who races on the official side of iRacing, you get a rating per where you finish in all of the races you do in Arrive and Drive. That rating starts at 1,500, and over time it goes up and up. I know I'm about 2,900 because I'm this big average. Some guys, such as your, Ty Majeski's over 10,000. But the average of iRacing is usually right around that 2,000, 2,500. That's the bread and butter of most of the service. The average SOF of this race is 4,100. So the average strength of field in this race is well above the standard iRacer. And we have some guys who are upwards of 6,000, some guys in the 5,000s. Actually, we have some guys in the 1,600s. So there is a very, very varied strength of field here, very, very varied skill range here. But even if the skill range of Arrive and Drive is anything to say, all of these guys certainly are deserving of being in this race.
Oh, absolutely. And it goes to show when we're looking at this 3-wide action right now, for anyone who hasn't driven a NASCAR or a NASCAR truck series or anything, it doesn't matter what it is. If you have an oval racing, even in an MX-5, you don't fully understand the stress levels that you have behind the wheel. This looks simple. This all looks so trivial and easy, and it's just cars driving around in circles. No, when you go on board and you're actually trying to control these things, and you have the air that's being pushed off of other cars in unpredictable manners, you got people shoving into your back bumper, slamming into the side of you, you got other people touching your rear quarter panel, and it's so hard to comprehend exactly what's going on in a race. And all you have to do is just ride along with the ride, try to stay awake, stay alive, and then, oh shoot, there's a car spinning in front of you. Now I got to avoid it. Again, I don't think that even watching some of this goes to show the true talent of these drivers.
Guys, we have people with pro licenses in this, and I'm getting some info from the boss man himself, one Mr. Bell, that strength of field could be even higher, potentially, depending on where it goes. The Cup Series is over 5,000 for strength of field. So, I mean, you've got some of the creme de la creme, the creme de crop that are here showing up, showing off here on a Tuesday night for these trucks. So that is absolutely ridiculous. And for those of you asking, the highest I rating, it is the number 82 for what I see on a quick cursory glance.
Yeah, Brian Mercario there, I saw here, is at an 89.16. So that would be right up there, I would imagine, in the top 10% within the iRacing service. Again, nobody fill up the spreadsheet or it's not working, one of the two. But either way, 8,900, that is right up there with the highest you can get in the service. And, some of these guys up front right now, 5,000, 7,000, 4,000 up front. So some big tier action, and we'll see what happens next week. Next week's race, Brett, you were just giving us our schedule a little bit earlier, but we are, as many people like to say, at a drafting style racetrack. But when we head to the next track next week, we'll see if those high I rating guys are the ones to thrive, or if the lower guys can show maybe my number doesn't represent my skills.
Yeah, and that's, of course, could be Homestead, Miami, the next circuit. Who is that? Is that as a back marker? Excuse me, sorry, just getting a little distracted there. Back marker peeling to the inside. Casey. And going all the way to the back of the field. That was a car that we saw at one point in time that was upside down briefly, then right side up, and then upside down, and then right side back up. So it hasn't been the greatest day for them. And now finding the back of the pack once more, and that's going to be Casey Lakatos. Got to give him some credit, though, staying out there and going to be taking the checkered flag, which is an absolute win in my books, no matter what.
Going to be interesting to see what happens here. I do like seeing drivers still out and about, trying to earn those points, trying to move things forward. Don't let a early incident kind of knock things off here, but we'll see what they do and well get well out of the way, I think is a good answer as always. And just for that schedule tag, I think I said a weird schedule earlier. Yeah, we're off next week for week 13, and then we go Homestead Miami after that. It's going to be fun to watch how that goes through, guys. We're a third of the way through this race, though. Can't jump to next race until we get through this race. We're a third through here. David Weishart, look at this. Low Racing, Slaughter Sim Racing. He's season 1 cup champion. He's here in the trucks, absolutely trying to dominate in season 7 and not in a bad position right now.
I'd like to say I beat David Weishart at a truck race in Martinsville at about 2018. Which means nothing now, but the fact that he's much better than me now, I just have to say that I did beat him once in my life. So just throwing that out there in the sun. But guys, something we haven't done in quite some time, and do it before pit stops. How about we do some temporarily loud engines?
There's something really, really nice about sometimes just sitting back and listening to these trucks, not cars, trucks, rip their way around Daytona on the limiter, in the draft, just rolling through as a big old pack. There's nothing like it. I don't care if it's sim, I don't care if it's real life. This is just so much fun. And now as we come through again, we've hit that 3 wide back up in the front. We're holding the 3 wide in the front. I think the drivers here on lap 36 are trying to keep together. And Mike, I got to ask you, for your first truck race here, for someone who I know in the background really likes road courses, I'm starting to get the feeling that you're liking the ovals a little bit more.
This is very fascinating because we're watching chess at 200 miles an hour, right? This is a very different level of racing that I'm typically used to. And I've been getting more and more into the oval racing lately with the eNASCAR, with various other series as well. But I have to say the caliber of these drivers is what enthralls me the most. I know we've already waxed lyrical pretty much time and time again about it, but I truly mean it. And just seeing how truly impressive it is to run this 3 wide, to push each other the way these drivers are pushing each other, and for drivers like Brad Slaughter Jr. to carve their way through the field like a Thanksgiving turkey, it just really makes this entertaining. And I just want to go get some popcorn and sit on the edge of my seat, but I can't really go get the popcorn, but I can sit on the edge of my seat and talk about this, and I absolutely love it.
Absolutely the case. Great stuff here. And just waiting because guys, we are 23 laps into this stint right now. We'll bring up the the road racing verbiage into this stint right now, about 23 laps into it. So we will have pit stops probably within 10 or so laps. That'll put us halfway in about 7 laps. I think we're going to be right on that cut line of you'll probably need about 10 laps of fuel to finish this thing out. So it'll probably still be a 2-stopper. But we'll probably start seeing some shuffling and dicing and who's going to be working together. Who wants to pit with who? Guys getting to the bottom, guys getting to the top. These conversations certainly going to be happening, whether it be on Discords, whether it be on driver comms and the iRacing voice or text chat. You got to figure it out. And then also, getting this many drivers to pit road at the speed and competitiveness that they're going to be racing at, that's also going to be pretty scary.
Yeah, it really, especially when it comes down to the fact that everyone has to peel left at a certain point in time. And everybody pit at the same time previously. So we're all on the same strategy, and we all know when everybody else is going to pit, so we all know when to pull into pit lane. Maybe you do something different, but Daytona is not the track to do that. You need a buddy. You need 6 buddies, realistically, to come into the lane with, and you cannot find yourself stranded out on your lonesome, or you're going to be having a bad day down the order.
That you will. We hop on board here. I loved riding in here. This is Jeremy Miller we're riding on board with in 14th place as we just kind of cruise around, and you can see those 46-second laps. That's, I mean, quick here. We had that solo qualifying, and we end up here with this pack racing. You can see just how. Yeah, that's how powerful the draft is. I don't care if you're in the truck or what.
Inside, was he? I don't know if he had to evade something or if he was doing a pit bait there. Pit bait. That's a new verbiage there for that. Looking up front, we got the number 11 of Groner. He's down to the inside with Justin Anasogak there. And then the 73 rocking the top. That's Mr. Jake Nichols, the top working with the 16 of Rocky Boyd. Rocky Boyd second on the top, but he's currently being registered in the 7th position. That's how tight these things are.
And Groner, he started down in 15th position as well. So this goes to show you it does not matter where you start. It's how you finish, and especially in these truck races, anything can happen at any point in time. And well, I mean, that's just racing for the most part. And so close there down to the inside, a bit of side drafting back and forth. The 88 squeezing the 24, and Caden Diedrich not really gonna be yielding, and neither is the 88 of Justin. Approaching, though, some potential traffic. We've been seeing some very generous back markers so far, so I don't expect that to play too much of a role, but anything can happen in racing, and it normally does.
Now, this is Josh I know I got his name wrong. I'm not going to say, oh, yeah, he just straight said beelined it. He's like, oh, this apron down here is nice. Let me just go run the pseudo La Manche chicane. But he gets aggressively out of the way. That's what you like to see. And that leaves Caden Diedrich there up front in that number 24 with the push from Justin. And who is that rocking the 3rd lane all to his lonesome up there? It's going to be one of the shop area iRacing trucks up there, the number 4. Insert driver name here. That is Cameron Hearn.
You know what I think is going to be
the
leader around.
Big junk at Daytona. Again.
And that's the field, and I will say to the credit of all of these guys here in the area, what do they do really well when a wreck starts happening?
That grass is,
lock this thing down.
Oh my goodness, that grass, look at the grass. I don't know, depending on your resolutions, if we're not in 1440 here tonight, but that grass was rather interesting there. But let's go to the replay. We caught it live, right in shot. Go me with the camera cut, but yeah, I'm not conceited whatsoever, am I? But let's go and take a look at the replay.
If you are a Justin fan or number 88 fan here, close your eyes because there we see him moving just down to the inside, and the 53 24 there, he just catches the front of Justin, and unfortunately Anasogak down the order and down the ranks.
And that was deemed on the 88. Race control already came back at it and said, nope, that was the 88 cutting down. Sucks to be him.
It's fair.
Yeah, not clear, bro.
Great camera view.
And you can see everybody else. There's Cameron Hearn, just talked about him. The 2, the 86 got a little bit of airtime there. And now Tony Hawk Pro Skater is getting a revitalization. I guess we're starting early here tonight. With some of that guys going through the grass, taking the incident point, but I'd rather take the incident point than a destroyed race truck. So coming through here, closing in on exactly the halfway point, and it's going to be Gabe Herschel in the Rebel Rabbit High Seltzer Ford F-150 leading the charge.
Leading it now into pit lane potentially, but no, that's a surprise, to be honest. I think we're going to be seeing
And just to cut in, you got to make sure everyone's happy and paid for. Hendry County Motorsports Park was our replay sponsor on those multiple replay angles. But coming to the pits here right at halfway equals a whole bunch of peoples.
And yeah, everybody peeling in at the same time. 32 to 38 laps. So we will be seeing more than likely another pit stop. Yes, another pit stop by the end. And it will hopefully not come in the form of a caution.
Who is that? The 94.
94, yeah, missing their pit stall and having to make an absolute mare of it.
Quoting a meme of somewhere on the world, you can't park there.
You can't park there.
Oh, that's the number 13, but yeah, did he just lose it by himself? Not that we want to roast people.
Who was it that did it a couple of years ago? What am I thinking of? The real life. Didn't that happen like 2 years ago in real life? I'm pretty sure. It probably happened last race.
Pretty sure it did, yeah.
I feel like I remember that. Maybe
Alex,
it was a bit more slideways.
Alex Chilcutt in the 60 is going to be our our provisional leader here at exactly the halfway point. And just to again pay the bills here, again our sponsors on the top of the screen, rotating in and out. Another one we have not spoken about tonight, Victory Fuel. Celebrate tonight's win with Victory Fuel. Choose from caffeine-free flavors like Throttle Punch, Purple Potion, or Lucky Lemon. Each can is packed with electrolytes, charged with vitamins, and kid-friendly. Get 10% off your order with code AREAiRacing at checkout. That is Victory Fuel, another partner here with Area.
Getting a great view here of the Daytona circuit. Can we have a blimp cam real quick? That's something I don't think I have requested in a while. I just want to take a look at this lovely, lovely circuit. Look at this. Again, a track founded back in glory. You know, I don't know if you guys are familiar, but in case anyone is curious, about 300 to 350 different bird species in the area here of Daytona. It's a beach area, so typically you're going to be finding a lot of migratory birds such as sandpipers, plovers, but you have native birds as well, such as wood storks and peregrine falcons. It's all around a great place if you're looking to visit, if you're a car enthusiast or into aviafauna as well.
I did actually learn I did one of the track tours here. I've been twice. I went for a track tour and then I went for the race. But during the track tour, they did actually say, and this will, for you flat earth guys, cover your ears. When they did the Daytona Rising project in 2016, they actually had to account for the Earth's curvature when architecting the structure because of how much actual distance it takes up.
I believe that. It is a large, first off, 2.5 miles just of straight tarmac, but on top of that, of course, the 1,000 or over 100,000 seats that they have here, which is, I guess, nothing if you compare that to Talladega, which I'm sure they had to do the same thing there. But no, this is quite the venue here at Daytona.
I love it. I talk about it a lot, but I absolutely love it.
We have these very elaborate stats here. It's like, I love it. I like it. I love it. I want some more of it.
Oh my gosh. I know you didn't but you did. So I can't say anything. Anyways, here's the thing with it, right? Like, it's one thing to race it in sim, but I think anyone who's been there in person has absolutely had a great time. And also to answer YouTube chat for someone asking when they were going to have pit stops and if I thought they were having pit stops now, they had the pit stops during the caution. Don't you worry. 45 laps to go here. We're half race distance, guys. Let's send this thing back green.
But again, our halfway today was brought to you by Elite Entertainment, which we'll talk about them in just a jiffy. But Alex Chilcutt here is going to lead the charge down with the number 6 to the outside. The number 6 caught taking a nap there. Absolutely. He's going to chug that top lane up here as we head back to the green.
Eric Wolf sleeping at the wheel, unfortunately, and that allows the top two to pretty much run away. But don't you fret, folks. They'll be caught right back up very quickly. That's the nature of Daytona. You can't run too far away no matter how hard you try.
not ideal for them either to be asleep. But as you said, doesn't really matter here. We go down the backstretch and continue at 2x2. When's someone going to take a 3 wide again? We're officially half race distance. Let's take a 3 wide, boys. Come on, send it through. Who's going to do it? Somebody's thinking about it, and we got a Harry Houdini showing their way around and about.
You can do it. Put your truck into it. But again, our halfway race sponsor is Elite Entertainment. Add some life to the party this spring with Elite Entertainment, located in Boiling Springs, South Carolina. Elite Entertainment provides high-quality band production to entertain at any location, including karaoke, singo, which is musical bingo, and more. Visit linktree.com/ hopefully you put that in the description, Brad, for all the contact info.
It absolutely is in the description, don't you worry. All of our sponsors are shouted out in the description who bring this Area iRacing series to you, all of their series. So if you ever have a question about anything we talk about, check out the description, and that will get you just what you need to know
Musical
for the people who make this possible.
Musical bingo does have my attention, so
me too.
No, I'll have to look into that.
I was say the same.
Yeah, so right now we got 3 customers, but none of us live in South Carolina. Maybe they'll have a franchising model here in the future. Who is the 3 wide person? I thought it was going to be the 52 truck there in the background. Nope, it's going to be the 16 of Rocky Boy. The 3rd into the back of the 40. We're wrecking. We staying straight. What are we doing? Groner into the 40. The 40 just saved it, and now he's still saving it. Someone down to the flat here. Let's get everybody sorted out. We somehow survived. Doug Denise got the shortest end of the stick there as he's going to try to garner up his speed. Let's take a quick look at that with the Hendry Motorsports County Park sponsor here.
This, I feel, had a little bit of net code involved with it.
That was just bump code. That was bad. That was bump code.
A bad bump onto the 40 there, which sent him into the 11. But to be completely honest, there, Doug Denise, when Armageddon strikes, I want to be in a bunker made of that man's face, because he just got the wrath of the world shoved down on him, and he somehow made it through it. I am like amateur status when it comes to references with this guy, Brad. Where'd you find him?
Hey, Mike's been a friend for a while. I've worked with him quite a bit. I knew when I brought him on, I was like, because here's the thing, a little bit of background. We, of course, Corey Silva here, the wonderful man who has had PTR TV for a while, thought he was going to retire and lied to me and said he was retiring, and then he didn't. So when he didn't do that and decided he was coming back, I didn't know that. So when I was looking for it, I was looking for somebody to match that Corey Silva energy, the puns, the 2 trailer park girls bringing it around the outside, the fun stats. I needed all of that. And, well, I mean, no other better way to phrase it. Mike just kind of dropped out of the sky and said, here I am. My name's Domingo.
That's Mike. But yeah, all things considered.
But there's our 3 wide. Who is Cameron Hearn? Well, for $500, Alex, he's the truck on the top of the racetrack, making some headway, along with the 89 of Matthew Batby there. 31 truck Mason Kane also trying to make it work. And guys, as many trucks as we've wrecked thus far, we still have about 2/3 of the field running 3 wide here post halfway. And all of those sponsor trucks there that were our halfway sponsor, those Hendry County Motorsports Park trucks, they are trying their best to maintain position at the front. But Cameron Hearn has it as the time being.
Holy smokes, that was a near-death experience if I've ever seen one. I think that was Matthew Batby getting a near bad bump, but just keeping it under control.
Oh,
we had a new leader brief.
Ooh. Another replay here. That was, I don't know if y'all could hear it, but
baby,
I
now
had a
we
Code
got
Brown
bad
moment.
bump. No, that was a... no, I'm trying to bring Taylor Swift into the mix here. Forgive me, even though nobody will. No, that was a bad bump, because it was.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, we'll work on that one. It's race number 1. I got a whole schedule to tidy up here, but we are past halfway. We are at 37 laps to go, if I can do math here. So that will still be 1 more pit stop. We're 8 laps into this sequence. We're going to garner that they could probably go about another 25 laps. That would put us, again, roughly 10 to go. So the pit window probably going to be open in about 5 laps. I mean, guys, do you go for the pit as early as you can, get that fuel and ride it out? I mean, I'm imagining these guys are probably going to wait to the very end because the rate they're going, I don't think we're done with cautions yet.
No, we're only, I think, 9-10 laps into the stint here, so we definitely have plenty of fuel remaining for the short term. But yeah, as you mentioned, later here, as it's going to be just short for the pit stop. So I predict mostly, I think we're going to be waiting for another caution for the most part. I would be pretty hard-pressed to believe these drivers are going to be on their best behavior. That's just not something that we've, I mean, I was going to say it's not something we've seen. It is something that we have seen, actually. They've been quite good this whole time. We've been, even in the 3-wide action, it's been very, very close all the way throughout the pack. But now the drivers settling in for the long run. You can see they have, I think, finally, Brad mentioned this on lap, 20? Lap 10? Something like that, maybe they're going to be settling in. I think this is the time that they actually are going to be dialing it in. There we go. You can see 36 laps to go, so not enough fuel, no doubt. 3 cautions so far, and maybe more to come.
That's actually 4 cautions. I did have to do a little back-end reset, so it is actually 4 cautions. The rest of the details are accurate. 29 lead changes. That's about 1 every other lap for those who like to do mathematical averages there. But right up front now is that number 52 truck of Peyton Howell. See a little bit of blinking going on from Batby. It's the first time we've seen that. And there's going to be updates next build to kind of cause some issues for the blinkers and prevent those things from happening. So things to look forward to in the next build. But either way, back to 3 abreast. And guys, to summarize what I had said earlier, with all the wrecks we've had, all the multi-truck incidents, we have 3 trucks off the lead lap. Josh Praveet, and I know there's pronunciation for that somewhere that we butchered, but that's Josh in the 9. We have Casey Lucas, we talked about him, we've seen him, and then Jake Nichols in the 73. But nobody has formally left the Daytona Speedway yet. Everybody is still able, if not driving, they're still able to race their vehicles. So no attrition thus far.
We love to see it. That's exactly what we're looking for here in the Area Truck Series here on PTR TV. Which, guys, so far, if you are enjoying the action, do hit that like button, hit the subscribe, as it is free here on YouTube. And if we are on Twitch, which I'm not sure, do hit that follow button as well, of course, for the Area iRacing Twitch channel.
UFL, is that United Football League, or is that some kind of, I'm sure that's an iRacing league, but maybe he is a football champion as well, who knows. That was Timothy in the 86, the name, I'm sure it's on a spreadsheet that I can't access right now somewhere. Pacquioli there. But things, guys, I'm going to knock on my my particle board IKEA desk here and say that things are starting to sort of feel a little bit more rhythmic. Yes, we're 3 wide, but if you look probably about 15th or so on back, things are a little bit orderly. Now, is that guys prepping and just, you know, weathering the storm per se? Or did they just lose the draft? I'm going to go optimistically and say they're weathering the storm, but maybe it's not.
I think it is the weathering storm option. You know, one driver that I've been trying to keep my eye out for here is Brad Slaughter Jr., who got caught up earlier on, and very close calls there. Cars slipping and sliding left and right. But now the inside lane, I guess I should say, is the one that's kind of looking like the favored one for the moment. All the cars wanting to be down there, but nobody really being able to. If you are in the mid right now, if you're on the top, you're almost sort of getting hung out to dry. There's only 3 cars right now, trucks. Anyways, working together to try to help each other. So they're going to need a little more company up there. I know the saying 3 is company, but that's not quite the truth at Daytona.
3's company. Come on, knock on our door. No, that's from 1970s. Nobody knows what 3's company is. Maybe somebody in our YouTube chat has heard of 3's company, but clearly you two whippersnappers are too young for that. But the 82 of Mercario.
I made the reference. What do you mean?
Yeah. Number 82, yes, apologies. The 82 playing traffic cop here, try to block all of the lanes. Well, unfortunately, the other 2 lanes have been filled in by the 86 of Timmy there, and the number 60 of Alex Chilcutt there to the outside. The top lane is only consisting of him and Philip Groner there. Philip Groner, a name that we recognize here on PTR TV if you followed us in the 2024 campaign, but looks like guys are saying, no, you know what, 3 wide, Got enough of that. We're gonna chill. We're gonna hang out.
Don't speak that into existence.
I was gonna
Corey.
say we're gonna say that it's gonna eradicate in about 0.7 of a second.
I mean, yeah, that's probably accurate.
Somebody in our YouTube chat, Suzanne Somers would get it. Yeah, so the only person who doesn't know Three's Company and John Ritter and all that is my man Brad here. So we got to get Brad looking at TV land here if that still exists. But we do have some blinking here in the back. I think it's still Matthew Batby, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, that 89. He's been fine all race, at least at what we've seen. But let's go back to who is that about starting in that? I think the 90 truck there. That's Devin Johnson. He is kind of leading that single file charge. He rookie season was last year. The 27-year-old native. 27-year-old native. He's a native of age 27. He is leading the guys who are just kind of chilling at the back of the pack now. He's a native of age 27.
Hey, he's native of place 27.
Yes.
He's currently sitting in 27th at
Perfect.
the age of 27.
Let's
Some say that's fate. Some say it's a curse. Many don't know. It's all up for interpretation. Driver that you briefly flashed on there was Justin Anasogag, down in 14th position. He was leading the race at one point in time, and now he's worked his way back up despite getting tagging himself into that incident.
Oh my God, the 52 is driving with no regards for human life. He's going high, he's going low. Where will he not go? Right now, hopefully not to the top, because that is being occupied by Brian Mercario in the 82.
A maniac behind the wheel here, and now the 82 contesting.
These guys are making me nervous. That's about all I got right now. We've hit that point where we're over 2/3 race distance, guys. And here's the thing: everybody's going to start getting a little antsy.
They're just now getting antsy. What have you been watching for 60 laps?
I've been watching this race for 60 laps. What have you been watching?
I've been watching a whole bunch of hocus pocus here. These guys going nuts, but they're going antsy. And then got the 82. Everybody up front is elevator moving top to bottom here. This is getting terrifying.
About to get worse. Give it time.
Definitely, again, drivers to keep an eye on down the field. Ones that we've seen leapfrog their way through and continuing their charge on. Brad Slaughter Jr., 33rd right now. I do think he has a little bit of damage. Holy smokes. Wow. Well, that was definitely a little bit of a testing the structural fortitude of their racing trousers. Thankfully, there is one more pit stop left.
And the Mario Kart turbo pad is starting to engage itself here on the top. That third lane was rolling with a head of steam there. That is the 60 of Alex Chilcutt. Only 3 trucks there working that third lane at present here as we complete lap number 63, bobbing and weaving through that tri-oval. And that's something that we haven't touched on, guys. The tri-oval here at Daytona only banked at 18 degrees. It is flat out, but at the same time, it is not easy to do in 3 wide. You are putting some wheel into it. It gets really narrow. There's not a lot of banking to help you. So even getting through that tri-oval is a lot harder than you may conceive it to be.
Yeah, it's a very, it puts the cars off weight, and these cars, they already struggle enough with the rear end balance, despite the fact that Brad made the comment of that rear wing that they have, which does produce downforce, technically, from a scientific level. It does produce a number of downforce, but certainly not quite your Formula 1 levels, certainly not your GT3 levels. It's enough to displace a little bit of air. And all things considered, these cars are very light in the back. They have a big, heavy V8 up front, and really nothing in the back. They're all floaty air, and that is so dicey, especially when that weight balance shifts and you feel those cars go through those kind of off-banked corners.
You know, what you're saying is these trucks don't got no junk in the trunk there, Mike. That's what you're saying?
Yes. That is precisely what I am saying, yes.
I've just been enjoying this. I'm not going to lie, guys. I'm enjoying y'all in the booth together.
Yeah, lap number 65 on the board here. Again, our stint length right now, right around 20 laps. So again, we are forecasting about 10 to 15 laps before these guys will pull off into pit road. So if you think it's exciting now, there's still a whole new realm to this race. And hopefully the realm to this race is not one of the leaders chopping and destroying the field with these very aggressive blocks. And that is something I'm a little curious about, guys, as to why the blocking up front is so drastic at this point. Maybe they're trying to meet their match. Maybe they're trying to find their team affiliations for that pit stop. Because I wouldn't put too much emphasis on where I am up front right now, knowing that we have that big variable still to play.
Yeah, I was going to say it's because they want that inside lane, but I just don't think that's the case, because we've seen, especially Peyton Howell, go for every single lane imaginable if he isn't content with the one that he's currently in. He's just going to kind of cue Family Guy meme and go over to the other side of the road, and hopefully everybody survives through. But right now, it's just kind of a sit and wait game for him, and trying to stay on that inside would be ideal. I hope to see a little less aggression, a little less cutting around and weaving. But right now, it's going to be down to that outside lane, I think, to determine the pace. And are we going to see more cars joining them? I think we may, because they have a really good run right now.
And I think the only partner we have yet to talk about tonight here is rickshotsauce.com. Head over to rickshotsauce.com for some of the best hot sauces made locally in South Florida. Try the Lokahatchee Classic, Golden Garlic, Palm Beach Pineapple, or South Beach Heat. Follow the Rick's Hot Sauce Rookie of the Year battle in the Area Cup Series and see which driver will take home the $100 prize as the highest finishing rookie in the point standings. Again, the Area Cup Series presented on the IDK Player YouTube channel. You can check them out on Monday nights. Again, rickshotsauce.com. Link in the description below. But again, the slicing and dicing is still aplenty. Who is being shown as the leader right now? It's going to be the Rebel Seltzer machine of Gabe Herschel. Working that, and that 85, wasn't he in the mix of a caution? Didn't he get yelled at for causing a big wreck? And look at him in that pink and white truck, about fourth on the outside lane, Lee Norton.
Yeah, he's kind of gone through the order. Who was that? That was Eric Wolf. What has just happened to Eric Wolf? Oh, he's peeled into pit lane by himself?
Yeah, man.
Interesting.
Yeah, no bueno. You don't want to do that here at the Daytona International Speedway. You'll be running, as we said, about 4 seconds a lap slower without the help of the slipstream.
Yeah, that's a very questionable decision, and almost must be out of necessity, I would think. I wonder if they pit. I don't think that's an odd one. I definitely do think.
Somebody we haven't talked about in a little bit, David Weishart. He was one, I believe he was in one of the wrecks earlier. He must have been, because he's all the way back there, 21st position. And here he comes. Here comes a whole bunch of them into the pits here at Daytona. Let's see if everybody gets down to speed. Oh, Weishart, just talking about the man. He was trying to gain everything and the sun there, and got a little bit squirrely, hopefully made pit speed. That is something that a lot of guys will do on pits. They'll shoot Steph Curry for 3 and try to gain that time from half court, and sometimes it don't work.
No, a bit of a Max Verstappen impression if anyone watched the Daytona 24. Of course, different conditions, but that's neither here nor there. That's just the reality of the situation. We're going to be seeing this pack peel in probably this lap more than likely, as everyone's going to work their way to the inside. The top lane might struggle to get into pit lane on this lap, but everyone else shouldn't have an issue. Wow, we're still flat out. No, we put on the other side, don't we?
No,
we don't.
Yeah, you know, the thing with the big people sitting in the grandstand, that's the front straightaway. We do have a couple peel-offs here. That's Jake Fisher in the 84 and Sean Farr. He's pretty far back there, but he is also making a stop. The leader of the pit charge is going to be Mason Kane in the 31. He is currently being shown in the 15th spot, and there he is getting swallowed up by some trucks there to the outside. The 26 of Jonathan Evans and company.
John Evans, welcome back into the conversation. It's been a while since we've said his name. He was started up top pretty high in the order. In fact, second position. Now looking to potentially get another two-timer here, going for back-to-back victories.
You can see on the ticker here, this is the laps since pit. So right now, Jonathan Evans, mistakenly, that was Kane. He was blending in to this pack that exists now from 13th on back. They are going to be waiting for the pit stop for the top 12 and trying to see where they blend out. And I guess we'll try to see on our live timing. I think the live timing link in the description, you can kind of see, as we'll be able to see right here as well, who is running faster times. 47 2s up front, 46 3s in the back. So those guys who just pit are running significantly faster than this lead pack who's running side by side. That's going to lead to a big flip-flop in positions if this trend continues, guys.
Of course, the elephant that's sitting on the top of our head, Brad, is the fact that a caution could come out at any time, and that would just be devastating to the backpack, but play wonders to these guys right now. How many cautions do we think we have left?
One.
At least one or two more, guys. I've been kind of quiet here in the background, and part of it's been me just kind of looking at different sections of the field. I've been riding on board with different drivers, just trying to get a feel for who's winning.
There's your caution.
Who said it?
That's Groner.
Who said it?
I mean, you just said the word "it" about 4 times.
All right, well,
He got a little bit of airtime there, actually. You could see Groner, what happened to him. He had to have gotten hooked somehow. Yeah.
he got it.
That was a bad bump. And look at that. He almost, if the wall wasn't there, he would have blown over.
Near assault from the 13, it looked like. My goodness.
Yeah, that was just a conga line. Yeah, the bump, the pusher pushed the pusher who pushed the pushee. The pushee being the number 11 of Groner there. And that puts us in an interesting spot, and kind of this is what happens in full course cautions on road courses, which I know isn't a thing on iRacing. But when you don't pit on a track where you don't lose a lap under pit cycle, all these guys who didn't pit yet are now going to be shuffled behind all the guys who already did pit, assuming that they have enough fuel for overtimes, which is obviously something to consider. So that being said, expect your driver in the 13th position, Jonathan Evans, to be the leader once this shakes out.
Yeah, this is going to play massively here into the hands of that lead pack that didn't. We'll see. Like I said, Timothy Pacioli up front now with Joshua Bellet, my apologies, definitely mispronouncing that, and I do apologize on that, but there they go into the lane and having to make their stop. No, excuse me. No, so yeah, okay, my bad. I think I got that wrong.
Yeah, they're coming into the pits right now, and again, I would expect Jonathan Evans to remain on the racetrack as expected there, and we should have the free pass, I believe, being the number 08 of Sean Farr. He will zoom by the race track, by the pace car and everybody, and get his lap back.
Pace truck.
Yeah, that too.
15 laps to go. We'll be what? 13 to go, 12 to go whenever we
pace. We'll go, but no, we have our quickie caution, so we'll actually get 1 to go this time by. And yeah, we'll go green with 14 laps to go. And again, we still have 38 drivers on the lead lap. Again, the only person formally out of the race at this point is Jake Nichols. Still Casey Lakatos there. He is still chugging. He's getting as much damage repaired as he can. He's still 10 laps down. There's going to be a point in 6 laps, or about 8 laps, where Casey will not be able to physically gain any more positions, even with attrition. But he is still chugging, and you got to love, as we were talking about earlier, you just got to love the sportsmanship of, even though the race ain't going your way, chugging it out, finishing it out. Again, that mentality can gain you some very crucial points over the course of a long season.
Now, one driver here that has caught my eye that's looking to gain some massively crucial points here tonight is the man that's currently sitting in 4th position, Mason Kane. He started in 34th position, and he is currently 30 up from where he was into 4th. This is quite the effort, I would say, so far for Mason Kane. If he can hold this together, this is quite the stonking effort.
Now, the graphic didn't agree with you saying that he started in 30-something, but I will trust your statistics.
I'm looking at the start of the stream, so unless the start of the stream lied, that I don't know.
He's got a point there. He's got a point there.
He has got a point. I don't have a joke. I'm joke fried right now. But the number 26, Jonathan Evans, leading this thing down, just kind of going and dotting all of our I's and Q's back here because, again, we want to make sure we're covering everything that we need to cover here. Only thing we didn't cover is the AREAiRacing Twitch, which we are having some problems with our dual streaming software. Last week we tried streaming this. Well, actually, we didn't try. We did successfully stream the Clash or whatever it was called, preseason Clash at 1440p. Twitch does not like that, so we have degraded the quality to try to get Twitch up and working, and Twitch still says, nah, dude, we don't want to play. We'll try to figure that out next week, and Brad will get the VOD up there, so if you are a Twitch person, you will be able to watch the race up there in its delayed component soon after tonight's event. 31 truck DNQ'd for the Area 500 and Cup. He's looking for some redemption here. Mason Kane didn't qualify for the Cup race. He wants to get something here at Daytona, and that's a win here today. And of course, stay tuned for Thursday night because the Florida Estates Pro Series, the Xfinity style cars, will be racing here on PTR TV for Area on Thursday night. So if you like what you see, make sure you stay tuned because we ain't done with Area for the week.
Certainly are not. Hit that subscribe button, hit that follow button if you are around here, of course, on PTR TV. It's free here on YouTube in case you're curious. Also check out our socials while you're at it. Everything as well, all of our lovely sponsors as well that make all of the things possible here. All, of course, down in the description as always. But here we go. Pace car lights are out. Pace truck lights are out. And we are getting ready to go green once more.
I'm so excited for this. I think this is going to be some drivers giving some hard shoves, being a little bit aggressive here, getting us to the end. And, well, ain't nothing to it but to do it, boys. Green flag in the air. Barney waved it, and here we go with Evans in the lead as we bring it through. Let's go ahead and see how these last 14 laps kick things off here. Going through, Jonathan Evans is not playing around today. Ricky Springer in second place, and we'll see real quick because I know they're not going to waste time going 3 wide. Probably 3 wide by the end of this lap. We're going to go ahead and take it 2 wide in the front. Who's going to dare to make it 3? Who's going to dare to make it 3? But down the back stretch, pushing, shoving, bumping, banging, 3 wide before we hit turn 3.
I was going to say there is a propensity here in the NASCAR drafting style tracks to be super crazy racing, and then towards the end it fizzles out and turns into nothing because everyone's scared to lose positions. I have a strong vibe that I would be willing to put some DraftKings bets on that I will pause that thought because we are under caution.
Whew. Yeah, wow, lots of drivers getting out of shape in the background, and potentially the number 50, maybe just avoiding.
Immediate. Oh, here we go. The 94. This is my personal number when I race here on the iRacing service myself. That is that truck to the top, middle of your display, right above the number 2 truck. And a big checkup, a little bit of maybe a pseudo net code, and he is up and over. Shades of somebody who flipped a Daytona's past. Not quite Richard Petty, that's what I was going to say, but he didn't go on the fence. Yeah, the 71, that thing flew over at a very interesting angle. I do want to get one more perspective of this. Whether it was netcode, I've been 2 for 2, I think, on my admin calls here tonight. I want to go 3 for 3. 71 in the middle. Now that was kind of net code, but I think that wreck would have happened either way. But either way, Dominic, get an air sick bag and get that 94 dusted up for next week, bro.
Yeah, enough midair time to be serving wine and cheese.
This is live footage, and he's still in the. This is live footage, and he's still on the grass.
I don't know if I was him if I'd be doing that.
You must know more.
He's,
There was a big stack up on the checkup into 3, and that was the correct thing to do, was to evade not killing the rest of the field. So he just made the landscapers unhappy, but I'd rather make the landscapers unhappy than the rest of the field.
I'm assuming his brakes weren't quite up to par after being involved in a 180-mile-an-hour crash as well. So, you know, definitely you can give a little bit of leeway there for that. I was going to say mistake. Again, I think that was the right thing to do, as you said. So no issues there to be had. And we have a new, well, not new race leader, but Cameron Hearn, who has worked their way up the pack. They started, the heck did they start? Out of the top 10. And since then have managed their ways up to the front.
Yep, 4 laps here today. We'll pull up our our race recap graphic again as someone gets a free pass there. Up to 45 lead changes here on the evening. So that automatically, using mathematics, is 1 lead change per every 2 laps of racing. And I have a strange hankering here that we're not done having at least 1 or 2 more lead changes, because we just have not seen. Again, these trucks are, as we've seen, they're not easy to drive, but at the same time, they're not hard enough to drive where handling comes into play here. So we're gonna see some slicing, we are gonna see some dicing, we are gonna gasp, we're gonna make very odd sound effects due to our fear level, but this is all to the excitement of what we are about to see here tonight.
It's a potential green-white checkers on the horizons. It's definitely looking like it's going to be that way, just from how these drivers have been stacking up so far, and the aggression that they've been displaying has been definitely one to take note of at certain times, so we'll be keeping an eye there. I also wanted to bring up, on a different note, on a slightly less relevant but also kind of on-topic note, is of course this track hosts the Daytona 500, but it also has the Daytona 24, which has played host here since 1962, or 1966, excuse me, was the first 24-hour. The first 3-hour race was in 62. And did you know that the winner of that was Ken Miles, as well as Lloyd Ruby, in a Ford GT40 Mark II, and they won over a certain Ferrari team. And I don't know if you guys were thinking about that, but myself personally, I think you can maybe make a movie out of that.
I do like racing movies, so I'm all for that. Something straight from the admin tower. Lap number 77. They are calling no penalties because it was just, they called it a racing deal, kind of a weird set of circumstances that applied there. So they are going to call no penalty on that incident, which is a blessing for all involved. Of course, it won't fix any damage here. The 28 of Beckner. The only time you ever see that happen is people running the flat under caution. It's when they're that worried about fuel and they're using centrifugal force, or the lack thereof centrifugal force, to make sure fuel gets into the pickup. iRacing models a lot of things. I don't think they model fuel in a liquid capacity, but I guess it kind of makes you feel like more of a race driver to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all about the simulations at the end of the day, and that's what I'm here for. That's why I drive with a minimalistic HUD, despite the fact that, of course, you can have all the fancy gadgets and all the graphics that you want nowadays. But no, it's about what it's like behind the wheel. I don't know. I'm just a nerd. What am I talking about? I think, but whatever you want to use in sim racing, of course, it's okay. Any assists, any whatever. But like I say, I'm here for the raw, authentic feel. I want the simulation.
Well, that's, of course, what you get here, the simulation of iRacing. We're all in our racing cockpit using our steering wheels provided by Moza Racing, and trying to get, well, that's what we use here on PTR TV, but everyone's trying to get the best that they can. This is what you pay for. This is what you have fun for. A race win at a very, very high tier league at Daytona. That's what everyone wants. That's what everyone gets. Who's going to get it? We'll find out here. Coming to 10 laps to go, 25 miles of racing here at Daytona.
Cameron Hearn getting away well, that outside lane, the middle lane right now of the 26, John Evans. He's not going to be too worried or really sweating whatsoever right now. We do see, though, the 31 check up to that high line, which is very interesting. In fact, look at the bump that he gets there as a result. That's going to cannon him. Potentially, I wonder if he's going to switch back down to the in here, so just sort of overtaking Cameron Hearn. No, He's very comfortable there, and there they go, down to the inside, the favored line.
They're not done. They're not done wrecking, boys.
26 of Evans went low trying to find the gap, or whether trying to chase the 31 down the track. But again, we've seen that either way. We've seen guys trying to do the elevator blocks top to bottom. We've seen guys swerving, trying to make sure everything's under their control, but you can't control everything, and when you try to, usually it goes astray. Travis Beckner trying to go up to the top of the track, taking the push from Justin in the 88, and there is the push, and now they're all going to go to the top of the track, take the momentum, causing some massive pushes, massive shoving, all the while blowing by the race leader of Mason Kane.
And this is Cameron Hearn and Evans currently working together. You can just see Hearn is now locked up with the 26. Every little move he makes, in fact, I'm wondering, is the 26 actually going for the defense and just giving the 4 the bumper? It's either A, they're working together, or B, they're not working together, which, yeah, sure, that's every option available. But here we go. There's the 4 back to the outside. The 26 attempts to cover him off. 9 to go. We're going to be crossing the line. 8 to go. If we can make it to 2, this will be official.
8 laps to go here. Down to the bottom is Peyton Howell in the number 52, giving a push to Mason Kane. And he is trying to find a place to go, but the most frustrating place to be, Brad, in a situation like this where they're 3 abreast, is being stuck to the inside. There's really no place you can go. You're just riding that yellow line, pushing someone, and just hoping it shuffles out in your benefit, as we have a lot of slicing and dicing up front.
Oh my gosh. That middle lane is not comfortable right now. I was going to say, if you want to be somewhere, it's probably low. I wouldn't want to be in the middle lane personally, because they are absolutely wiggling. They're loose. These trucks are not happy with those rear bumper shots as they continue around. 7 laps to go, boys. Mike, I tell you what, they don't look stable at all here. They're going to wreck again.
I think they're going to wreck again, but look at who has joined the conversation. It seems like out of nowhere, Justin Anasoga is back in the front with the lead. He was wrecked out by his own volition earlier on. He cut off, I can't remember who it was, but given somebody else the bumper, and it was just a little too early. Plummets himself down the field. Another driver, John Evans, who was wrecked out earlier, he's battling for the lead, so it's been a yo-yo performance for a couple of them, but this is going to be a gripping finish.
Mason Kane had the lead, went back to about 5th or 6th, got back to the lead. The shuffle game here is in full play. You just have to make sure that you didn't make your move too early, and I have a feeling if you're the leader now, you probably did. I would take a gandering as the top, anybody really in the top 10, top 12 has a realistic chance to win this race. Remember, if the white comes out, the race will end no matter what the circumstances are at play. The 26 made the move to the outside, has the lead with the push from the 52 of Powell, but here comes the 4 of Hearn looking to the inside as well. Somebody getting loose on the apron back there, hopefully saves it.
And now still running, everybody locked up here. The 26 of Jonathan Evans. Like you said, has he given it maybe a little too much at this stage right now?
Jordan
He's giving it the
Coates,
absolute.
where did he come
there's
from?
the 99, exactly. You took the words right out of my mouth. Another dark horse in this equation. And welcome to the lead of the race, the number 99.
Oh, short-lived with a push from the 52. Got him really sideways, kept the position, kept the truck going straight. Now has to recoup the momentum. The 4 is going to go in front, try to take the momentum off of the number 99, and the 4 is going to get the temporary lead over the 26. Here comes the 3rd lane of Justin trying to take it with the 51 up top. Ricky Springer, haven't talked about him in a dog's age since the beginning of the broadcast, but here he comes when it's money time, trying to make that top lane work.
And whoa, man, this whole guy gets covered off heavily there by, I think that was Peyton Howell. I can't tell who that was. The 52 there was Peyton Howell. Gives him the bumper, and now he's going to get a good run as a result. The top lane's kind of been sitting in reserve right now, but as they get this run through 3 and 4, I'm wondering if they can get a good launch here, Brad, onto the tri-oval. The 4, though, moving up high, almost gets taken out in the safety wall. Here we go, 3 abreast. Down the ranks, and we're wrecking.
Yeah.
Well, could have called that one from a mile away.
Well, that is one word for you. That is going to put us into overtime, which, Brad, I'll have you check the stat sheet. I don't know if overtime is sponsored or not, but let's take a look at the replay. Oh, yeah, we're in the second pack here. We got to find someone in that lead pack to reference here that was involved in the wreck. The 13 car, I see AJ Stravato. Let's see what happens to him. Again, it's hard to tell when there's 87,000 trucks, what happened. And yeah, the 7 going around, 13 gets on his lid. I don't know what's up with these sideways blowovers lately, but let's go take a look from the blimp cam here. Should uncover the situation here. 4 into the wall up front, caused a checkup. And 57-37, that's where it really stacked up there down the backstretch, and everyone just flailing down.
You know what?
Yeah. Go ahead.
I felt that one coming for a little bit, and I'm kind of shocked that it happened mid-pack and not front of the field, honestly. Really was expecting, something happened here, and that was this is going to be a rough green-white checker because none of these guys are going to give up at all. I hope you all know that. They are going to have a wild run here to the finish.
Yes, they certainly are. The 2 to go. And of course, in order to finalize, anyone that is newer to NASCAR oval racing in general, in order to finalize the race, we have to complete 1 lap with the green flag underway. And once we reach that 1 lap, everything is game. It does not matter what happens. It can be a wreck from every single car from first place back. It doesn't matter. The results are going to be finalized, and whoever takes the checkered flag first.
3 attempts.
3 attempts. And now this also is something that is worth considering. Anyways, actually, I guess not worth pit laps, about 20. So this race, if there's a maximum of 3 cautions, that would probably add about 10 laps to the race. So I think everybody, even with caution pace, we should be fine on fuel. I don't expect anybody to need to come to the attention of their crew. Brad Slaughter will get the free pass, and he will zoom around as the 38th place driver here in the race. Truck is looking pretty slick up to full speed here, so he should be able to, at least be in contention for it. But guys, this is something that we usually do. I haven't made a graphic for it yet, but I have a lot of graphics that I still need to make. But the graphic would be to make is, who's your pick right now? If you had to put 200 PTR TV dollars, fictitious PTR TV currency dollars, and say this guy's gonna win, who is it?
At the top of the broadcast, I put my money on the 26th of John Evans. I'm sticking with it. He's the previous race winner here. He knows how to win at Daytona, and he's put himself in a perfect position to do so. So in my opinion, my money going down on Evans.
Justin Anasogak, and I don't have a specific reason for picking him other than he's the number 88.
He's also gone through the field back and forth. You know the saying, when you've gone through hell and back, keep going. And that's, I think, Anasogak's motto right now.
And I just got to verify a stat beforehand. Jordan Kuntz has not led a lap in this race. He will lead the final lap. Per my, again, PTR TV 200 digital currency. I got to find some way to be something creative on that, but that's our wager system here. We're not doing DraftKings. I know there's an esports betting ad that comes all over my TikTok feed. Not affiliated with that. All in it just for fun, as that is the 1 to green. Somebody is going to have a big battle across to get back up to the pack here. I think that is, I see Adre Stravado trying to get there. All these guys trying to catch up. I just saw somebody exiting the pits. They're going to have a massive trip around. But again, 2 laps to go it'll be. We got to get 2.5 miles green, and then all belts are off.
Now the question obviously being, can we make it 2.5 miles green on our first attempt? I think so. I'll be the optimistic one. I think we can. These drivers have displayed a tremendous amount of control so far. I don't think the gloves are fully off yet. This is only race 1 of the championship. That's something to keep in mind. I feel like the drivers, well, this goes both ways, right? It's race 1 of the championship. And so I think a lot of drivers want to maybe keep it in reserve a little bit and show what they can, do, but also not wanting to bin it and not make enemies early on is going to be the biggest kind of thing. But of course, you can make enemies early on and take the win. Why not? That's the other argument. And I think for a lot of racing drivers, the latter is the more appealing one because it has the gold shiny trophy that you get at the end.
We got some bets in chat here saying the 80, even though he is in the 12th spot, he is the 31 is pretty good, but the 80 is a super speedway merchant. Is he Louis Vuitton or is he Great Value? Again, I'm going to assume Louis Vuitton by the comment in chat. So we're going to have fun with this coming off turn number 4 for what is now the no longer 225-mile feature here for the Area Truck Series. We're adding a minimum of 5 more miles to that, and we'll get it underway just about now. Mason Kane's going to get into the restart zone, followed by Jonathan Evans to his outside, getting on the accelerator for what could potentially be the final time. Let's go green and try to settle this out.
Immediately there, Mason Kane gets a stellar run to the inside. Jonathan Evans needing a helping hand from the 49 of Garrett Conroth behind, and they do. They get a great run into turns 1 and 2. This will give them a launch onto the back stretch, and let's see. It's all about keeping it clean on this first lap and then giving it their all on the next.
You got to watch here up in the front because someone's going to look to take it 3 wide. Will they make it around to the flag? I think they will here as we go through. This is green, white, checkered 1 of 3. They do have 2 more if they need it, but it looks like here we'll come through. I see wiggles. Everybody, weeble wobble, bear. And he's got the white flag. There we go. White flag's out.
We're going to finish this thing out one way or another. Cars upside down, cars in the wall, cars in the grass, does not matter. The race will end under the checkered flag coming off of turn number 2. The 31 still in command. Evans waiting for the push from the top. Hearn is getting dicey in the bottom. He wants somewhere to go, but he's stuck in line, heading halfway down the back.
Evans getting left to dry right now. This is not where he wants to be. He needs more help, but everyone's trying to take the change out of his back pocket. No one's giving him the shove. This is allowing everything to Mason Kane and Cameron Hearn. Cameron is going to have to pull out here at the last possible moment and gain the momentum. And with the help here from behind, is he going to have enough? We're going to be 3 wide as we come to the checkered. Who's going to take it? The 99 is off. Mason Kane takes the victory.
In a 3 wide finish there, with the final margin being 3 1/1000ths of a second. Mason Kane will get the win. Cameron Hearn, not to quote Larry Mack, you didn't time it perfectly, although he gave it the old college try here. We'll go back on replay and get a pseudo slow-mo here of that final run to the checkers here. Coming through the Daytona tri-oval here. We'll speed this up just a little bit just to come down here. You can see here they come. No push from behind. Now here comes the 99. That was my pick. Jordan goes all the way to the top, gives him a push, and then leaves him to dry because Jordan wanted to go 3 wide to the bottom, and that is our finishing margin here at Daytona. Of course, I can't get a good camera of it, but you can sort of see it through Barney the flag stand there. That being the margin of finish. There's a good one right there. You can see just in the middle is that 31 truck.
Man.
3 10,000ths of a second separating them. That's close. In fact, actually, wait a second.
Yeah,
isn't that closer than the Daytona 500 back in 2016?
Yeah, look at
Hamlin
that 3
and
wide. Actually, yeah, Jordan was so close there. But again, that is our margin of victory here tonight. And again, we give our congratulations to Mason Kane on the victory here. Again, winning at Daytona, getting the momentum, and winning the most prestigious race of the year here at the World Center of Racing. Well deserved by Mason Kane. And what was his final take here on the day? He led a number of laps that
he also, sorry to cut you off, he also again started in 34th. Again, to reiterate, at least by my maths from the start of this race, which according to the iRacing, but from my maths, this man just gained 33 positions to lead this race.
And he led 33 spots, according to your math anyways, and led 8 laps here on the evening. But we'll offer him our congratulations as we will head up and start our finishing procedures here, our post-race show here at Daytona, as follows with our finishing results. Getting that win in absolute breathtaking fashion, Mason Kane by 3 thousandths of a second. Jordan Kuntz, my pick, almost got it with the 3 wide move. The 99 finishes in 3rd. Jonathan Evans in 4th. Jeremy Brown in 5th. Garrett Conrath in 6th. Peyton Howell, Philip Groner, Gabe Herschel, he was the chat pick. He'll finish 9th. And then rounding out our top 10 is Danny Ware. Brad.
Yeah, from there, we're going to go to P11, Travis Beckner and Justin Anasogic in P12, Caden Diedrich in P13, Jake Fisher finds 14th place, Lee Norton in P15, and Rocky Boyd III in P16. Brian Mercurio, the highest iRating driver of the session, brings it home in P17 with Tanner Love in 18th, Jamie Miller in P19, and Timmy Pacquioli in P20. And Mike, take us through the next 10.
Bryce says Senesac taking home 21st, unfortunately, despite having a great effort up at the front. Matthew Batby as well, potentially great results, but finishing in 22nd. Eric Wolf, 23rd. Seth Noel in 24th. Jaden Hannekamp in P25, alongside Garrett D. Grant for 26th. Joshua Bellet in P27 with Devon Johnson alongside in 28th. 29th belonging to Tyler Holloman, and rounding out your top 30 being Alex Chilcutt.
31st being Donathan Praveet, and then 32nd, Adre Stravato. He was on his side at one point. David Weishart started well, but it did not finish that way. Most of these guys had problems at some point or another. Ricky Springer, Brad Slaughter Jr., he was the 3-wide guy early. Sean Farr, Gary Wattersworth, I think he had the Gary the Snail helmet, if I remember correctly. Doug Denise, Josh Praveet, and then Glenn Budred, and then just the last 3 here on the board. You have Casey Licatos, he chugged around at minimal speed, and then Jake Nichols, the last that actually took time. The rest were DNQs. But now we will head up to, or down to, whatever direction makes sense. Head to Victory Circle. I have caught up with our race winner, the likes of Mr. Mason Kane. You got a copy, my friend?
Yes, sir.
All right,
Let's go. Come on.
Yes, my friend. You led 8 laps here on the evening. Of course, getting the most important one. I mean, you obviously come into a green-white checker. You never know what to expect. You know everything's coming. And you saw that Cameron was giving you the push-off for you. You knew he was trying to time it, and he just didn't time it good enough, man. What was going through your head?
Man, I got the best teammate in the world with Cameron. It's our first time working together, so we've been friends for a while now. But I told him whatever he wants to do off the floor, he's got it. So he kind of went high, and at that point, this has been such a long time coming. I've lost races in some terrible fashions. So, but once he got high, I was just had to take some speed off him. But then I didn't realize the 99 was on the bottom. I thought I honestly lost it to the 99. To be honest with you, I had to look at the scoring.
Yeah, he only finished about 6 1,000ths behind you, so it was pretty tight there. You almost went from first to third in about 1,000 feet. But this race never really settled down. Usually, plate races, drafting style races, they'll be crazy, then they kind of fizzle out, and then they go crazy at the end. This race had you guys really at the edge of your seat. At least we were for the entire duration. How was that from the driver's seat? Really never getting a break with for 90 laps plus with this highest caliber of a field.
Yeah, well, we actually started with the EOL, so we qualified 5th and had to come out from the back, and we made our way up to the front, but it just started getting hectic as can be in those middle laps, and you saw all the carnage, and escaped the first wreck, thankfully, but no, you had to be gripping the wheel pretty tight all the way around for every lap, and then green flag pit stops went very well, so no, I mean, it was hectic as can be, but we try to control our own destiny, and we did a great job of doing that as a team for VAC Esports.
All right, of course you did, man. So I know Truck Series races in 2 weeks at Miami. Xfinity, the Area Pro Series, Florida State Builders Pro Series will be here on Thursday. When are we going to see you next, man?
You'll see me at Homestead. Coming back from a year that I wasn't happy with last year in the trucks. We went back-to-back playoff runs the 2 years before that. So, yeah, you'll see me all year here in the Xfinity Series, but this is my main focus, and to put this thing in the playoffs, race 1 is huge for us. We're going to be up here all year, hopefully put a little bit more time in it this year. So hopefully we get another win this year at 1.5 miles or a mile track.
All right, man, congrats. We'll see you soon. Any final words before we let you go?
Man, thanks to Ryan Nowicki bringing me on with VAC Esports. We got a good team this year. I know a lot of people are counting us out. We're kind of the little team that could, but we're gonna race like hell all season. So watch out for us for sure.
All right, for sure, man. Go celebrate this one. You deserved it.
Yes, sir. Y'all take it easy. Thank y'all.
All right, and Mr. Brad Dalton has caught up with the number 4 Teammate nearly timed it perfectly, not quite, Mr. Cameron Hearn.
Cameron, it's Brad up here in the booth. How you copy?
I got you, buddy.
Man, talk to me about that finish there. I don't think I could have put a cat whisker between you and Mason Kane. Just there at the end. How's it feel, man?
Yeah, I'm we're teammates, so I'm glad one of us got it. But I told him on that green white checkered, I was like, hey man, get the green, hold on to it because I'm not gonna lift. And he did a great job. We kind of pulled away from the top line, which I felt like was dominant all night. And we talked under caution, like coming to the checkered. It's anybody's game at that point. And for a second, I didn't think either one of us won. So I was like, man, there's no way we let it slip like that. But luckily, I know it was real close. Glad Mason got the win. It was the first race, the first win of a new team starting out the year strong. So honestly, that's what it's all about. Get those points at these tracks where it's hard to come by.
Yeah, and Cameron, talk to me about kind of what your plans were coming into Daytona versus how it kind of turned out for you here. What were you thinking was going to happen here at Daytona, if you had any thoughts? And then how do you feel about where it actually came from, that 18th to 2nd? Yeah,
I knew there'd be wrecks early, and there were some big wrecks, but it looks like a lot of guys were able to get their stuff fixed, be competitive there, which kind of surprised me. There's a lot of new faces here, and I kind of linked up with people that I'm familiar with racing around and kind of know their driving style and what they do in the middle of the lane or low line or high line. And that's kind of what I did the first half of the race. And then after that, it was kind of linking up with teammates. I know Justin was running up front there a little bit, and I think he tried to get down to get the pit road, and I think Kosh came out after that. But after that, it was just me and Mason up front and just working together and just trying to make sure one of us had a chance at it.
Thought it was a lot of fun to watch you go through. Cameron, what's your plans for the season, man? You got a second place under your belt. Where are we thinking for the rest?
It's a good start to the year, but obviously it's Daytona, right? So it's a little bit of luck that goes with it. But definitely getting the momentum going early, which is good. But just be consistent, have a shot at the playoffs. That's my main goal this year is making it to the playoffs, have a shot at it. Just stay out of trouble. Don't do anything stupid. You put yourself in a bad situation. There's a lot of fast guys out here. So if you're finishing, top 5, top 10s a week in, a week out, I feel like you're in good hands. But just kind of making sure we got all 4 fenders on it coming to the check.
Oh man, I can't wait to see what you do through the season here. Congrats on the second place by just a millimeter, and we'll see where the season sends you. Congratulations. Go celebrate.
I appreciate it, buddy. Thank you.
Thanks, Cameron. And I do believe that's going to put third place with one Mr. Mike Nouse, Jordan Kuntz. Let's bring him into the booth.
Jordan, do we got a copy?
Yes, you do.
Jordan Kuntz from 25th position. Let's just start off with that. And sort of the dark horse. We didn't really mention you once until probably about 3/4 of the way through the broadcast, where you showed up at the front and, you never left from there. How was that from your point of view?
It was a normal Daytona for me. My strategy going into any super speedway race is hang out in the back, have a clean truck or car for the finish, and do some, and hope the race has a long green flag run to play some strategy. And Rocky Boyd definitely had a really beautiful strategy to pit earlier than everyone else to get that lucky caution and be ahead of everyone for those final 20 laps. And it was just really one of the most interesting, entertaining, and fun races from my perspective that I've had up at the front. A lot of 3 wide, a lot of clean racing, a lot of fair racing, and disappointing to lose out in this style, but it was definitely a very fun race overall.
Yeah, from the booth as well. I think all of us had an absolute hoot of a time watching this one. And let's talk a little bit about that finish as well. As coming out of the banking there through turns 3 and 4, you were sitting back in, I think it was 3rd or 4th in the row, I guess, at the time, as the outer row didn't quite get a good enough run. And you saw that Cameron was trying to slingshot himself with Mason there and kind of just didn't really leave you any room, was kind of how I looked at it. And you picked the inside. It almost worked. I mean, you were a 10,000th of a second off of the mark. So, not too far off, but just how was that from your perspective at the end?
I mean, looking back at it, there was nothing really else I could have done differently. I played the race 100% to perfection and got the most out of it. I saw that he had the run and that the 31 was falling back a little bit. So I think my plan was to help the 31 try to win the race. because I feel like that would have gave me the best shot at finishing in second place. And then he just left the door open to make it 3 wide, and I took it and nearly came out on top.
Nearly indeed. A dramatic finish, and certainly one for the social medias. There's no doubt about that. A very close one, very entertaining, and a Daytona-esque finish. But of course, with Daytona coming to a close, that means that we get ready to head over to Homestead, Miami in a couple of weeks. And how do you feel heading on down to Florida? Well, back to Florida.
Well, I think it's going to be interesting. Of course, this is my first time racing in this league, so I really do not know a lot of these people, don't know how they race at tracks that aren't super speedway now. So it'd definitely be a lot of a learning opportunity. Have to learn a lot about this league, learn the drivers, learn if there's a lot of cautions or if they're aggressive driving. I think I'll be looking for another strong run to back this run up. Another top 10 I think would be amazing, but of course the win would be so much better next week.
Absolutely would. Now, Jordan, before we let you go here tonight, is there anyone you'd like to thank?
Yes, I would like to thank everyone at JRS and JRS Setup Shop, John Jones, and Rocky Boyd for his amazing strategy call, and everybody that I was working with during the race, all my teammates, and of course I have to thank Premier Concrete Solutions for this sponsorship they've given me and this opportunity to get this truck into a top 3 a podium finish, and Blaze Designs for making this beautiful paint scheme. And just wish it could have ended a bit more differently with the win, but a 3rd place is something that I cannot be disappointed about.
Certainly nothing to shake a stick at, Jordan, but thank you very much for being in this league, and we look forward to seeing what you're going to perform here in the future. Top 10, come on, you know you got more than that. But anyways, folks, Jordan Kuntz, your P3 finisher here for tonight at Daytona.
Yep, and that will wrap things up, guys. Again, a phenomenal start to our tenure here. Of course, we covered the Clash, which was kind of the fun session a few weeks ago. Our first official area broadcast, and certainly it was a hoot. You don't have a 3-wide finish to start things off too often. And we got a little bit more of it coming up in 2 days with the Xfinity cars.
I can't wait to see the Xfinities out. And then, of course, we'll be taking both the Xfinity and the trucks through their whole seasons, respectively. We'll have the All-Star race here on PTR TV as well. I think this is going to be wild. And, guys, if we're kicking off the season like this, Corey, Mike, 1, you two are best friends. And 2, I tell you what, if there was ever a time to just love what's coming up in sim racing, I think it's right now. Of course, this is race number 2 of 4 of our busy week here at PTR TV. That's kicking off March, kicking off the busy season for us here.
Yeah, exactly that. Make sure you stay tuned tomorrow. If you're watching this live, tomorrow night is the Elbows Out Racing League. It is multi-class at Spa. Then we will be back here on Thursday night for some more area racing, and then we'll start it all over next week with some more activity. But make sure you go to PrimetimeRacingTV.com if you're looking for some leagues covered that you may have interest in. Myself, Corey, and Brad will be interested in having some talks with you. But again, make sure you like, share, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. That's going to be Corey, Brad, and Mike signing out of the booth. Have a great night, and we'll catch you next time.
See ya.